Good morning, Endgame family, and welcome back. It is Saturday, which means we are about 24 hours away from the real first slate of NFL football. We've been treated, though. We already had not one, but two games. So the season is definitely in full swing already. Um, we actually have been treated because we've had two really good games. Both went down to the very final drive. We've had a lot of scoring, and I mean, we weren't sure what to expect from that game in Brazil, but I don't think I'm disappointed in any sense.
No, definitely not. At first, I was a little worried because guys were slipping all over the field. And it's like, oh man, it's gonna be one of these games where like nobody can do anything. But once they figured out their footing or the cleats or whatever it was, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't really be upset if you started almost anybody in that. Well, maybe you can be upset if you have the quarterback of one of the teams. But yes, still lots of fantasy points.
Yeah. So I'm trying to check in, of course, furiously refreshing. So Jordan Love. And a lot of the people on here who said rate my team and here's what I got. Jordan Love could be a great value at quarterback, was a great pick. And he was good until that very final drive. What is going on? Have you heard anything new? I mean, when I've seen it doesn't sound like an ankle injury, they said. It doesn't seem like it's anything, you know, too scary, but we also don't know exactly what it is.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not too scary yet. I think the first bit of bad news we got was that it's not an ankle injury, which means it's a knee. And if you see there's like a slow-mo video, you can actually see his knee like pop. The good news we did get though is they've ruled out ACL. Now, that doesn't mean though, I mean, like I don't want to be like bringing the the bearer of bad news here because we don't know yet, right? I'm not one of these Twitter doctors that's going to say like, "Oh, career over," "Oh, career over, never going to throw a football again," whatever. The sky is falling. Um but just cuz it's not ACL doesn't mean like look, JJ McCarthy. Remember he had a what was it MCL? Right? Was it an MCL? And it depends on the
Yeah.
severity. It could be like, do you need surgery? Your season's over. Do you not need surgery? Okay, maybe you're out weeks and you come back at some point. So we still don't know, but certainly this has to be concerning because what was really concerning for me? The only other QB on the roster last night was Malik Willis. Like the Packers are like, yeah, we're fine rolling into the season with Jordan Love and Malik Willis. Like, oh no, please no. Please no.
And not just that it's okay, we've seen Malik Willis not a lot, but enough to know that maybe he isn't it. But he just joined the team, like because he got cut like a week ago or something. It's not like a guy who's been there and is ready to step in. So that's the problem is the domino effect here. What could happen to guys like Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, all of the Packers that you had. So, because there's not just one or two receivers here that got drafted in fantasy. Um, so we're gonna have to obviously keep an eye on that. And there's several other injuries. You would think, I don't know, maybe I'm naive. I assume that after the preseason was over, and then before the first game actually started, that week in between, like not much would happen. Like, how do you get hurt? Like how do you get fired on your day off? But we've had some people who have gotten hurt just in the last couple of days. One of them is a very interesting one. So we'll get to that. We're going to talk about the injuries, who's in and who's out. We always do this. So a reminder. And also, if you are new to the stream this season, you haven't seen our weekend live streams, first of all, welcome. Glad to have you on here. This is the place where you get all the information you need to help you win and dominate in fantasy. And part of that, we're tell you as far as your questions, who to start, who to sit, who's in and who's out, so you know the latest. And of course, anything else you want to ask, just throw it out there in the chat. We'll try to get to them all. But I just have to say before we get to the first one, I knew it. I should have known better. I told you all off season. You watch the videos. I was like, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about T. Higgins. I'm worried about this Bengal, and I did it in one of my drafts. I actually took Chase, who I don't know. I guess we'll see if he plays tomorrow. I don't even know. And then Joe Burrow, along with, I just like I should have known better, right? What is the deal with T. Higgins?
I don't know what the deal with T. Higgins is because after that, so what was it? I think it was on Thursday. Was it Thursday's practice? in the locker room after the practice, he said something like, "Oh, I feel great. The best I've ever felt. I'm ready to go for Sunday." And then he was on the injury report with a hamstring, and then he didn't practice yesterday and is now doubtful. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like I'm like same thing. I was in on T Higgins. I'm like, okay, if T Higgins can stay healthy and Burrow stays healthy, you know, the potential is there, the upside is there. He's a discounted draft because you can get him in like round 5, round 6, whatever it was. I'm like this close to just being like, screw it. I'm just done. I'm just done with T Higgins. I'm just done with T Higgins. Like, I don't want to deal with this. But I'll say this: even if we wake up tomorrow morning and they're like T Higgins is playing, don't start T Higgins. We've done this before. A doubtful T Higgins could be like just standing on the sideline watching the game. Like, can't start T Higgins this week, unfortunately.
But yeah, it's not even questionable. Doubtful. I mean, I don't start any player who's doubtful pretty much ever. T Higgins, even if he was questionable, to me that's like 90% no. Don't even think about it. And then Chase is like, we'll see. So does this mean? And I know we'll get questions about this. Do you sit Joe Burrow?
I mean, you'd have to have a really good option to sit Joe Burrow. It's still the Patriots. It's not like he's playing, you know, a super tough defense. Like, I'm not going to go out to the waiver wire and pick up, you know, say like Bryce Young or somebody like that just because I'm scared of Joe Burrow. But if you have somebody like Jared Goff or maybe even like Matthew Stafford, I might go with them over Burrow. But still, like, it's not like he's got nobody. It's not like he's going to be out there throwing to literally nobody. Like, I mean, it's certainly a downgrade, but at the same time, it's the Patriots. So, yeah, I'm probably still rolling with Burrow, but maybe the upside won't be as high.
Yeah, it would definitely depend on who your other option is. I agree. I'm not putting Daniel Jones in there. Well, you know, I'm not putting Daniel Jones in there, or you know, somebody like that, Bryce Young. Stafford would be great, but probably not available in most leagues like that. I'll tell you who this makes me higher on, honestly, is Zach Moss. They're just going to run the ball more, and they shouldn't need to pass a lot anyways because it's the Patriots. So I really feel like they're just going to pound the rock. So Moss, maybe Chase Brown too. All right, so we'll get to the rest of the injuries. We'll do this. T. Higgins, doubtful. To do with that what you will. Not much else, thankfully, because again, the preseason is supposed to be over. DJ Chark, in case you were wondering, is out, and Josh Downs is officially out for this week. So that could be interesting. Now, here are the questionables, of course, Jamar Chase. Russell Wilson. I mean, they did announce that Fields was the starter, though. Am I right?
The Steelers did not announce that. Ian Rappaport reported that they're expecting Fields to start. It's not like the Steelers came out and said Fields is going to start this week. Ian Rappaport reported that Fields is expected to start this week. I'm leaning towards Fields starting this week more than likely because the Steelers are typically pretty cautious when it comes to injuries for their players. And of course, this is the guy that they are expecting to be their QB1 all year. So I'm guessing we probably do see Justin Fields this week, but it's not official yet.
All right, good to know. And then the question, which is purely rhetorical because I have no idea, is this good for George Pickens or not? We don't even know because we haven't seen him with either of these quarterbacks, really. So who knows? So, and then Antonio Gibson, questionable. Big Armandre. And then 3 possibly dusty receivers who are veterans who you have been completely out on this preseason and draft season. And maybe this is just the start of the ending. Okay, that's a little dramatic. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable with that apparent knee injury he's been nursing, didn't tell anybody about. Keenan Allen, and then Tyler Lockett. So those guys are questionable. These guys are not. Thankfully, Jaylen Warren is going to play for Pittsburgh. I was worried that he might be out, but he's in. Kyle Pitts on the other side there. All of the world is not over yet for him, just yet. Jordan Addison, Curtis Samuel, Mike Williams is technically going to be out there, and Rashawn Johnson is in. All right. Now, this leads to a whole lot of questions you guys have, and I already see T. Higgins' name several times, and we're going to get to all your questions. And we got some super chats lined up. So just a reminder how this works. If you do super chat, we definitely will answer it, guaranteed. If you want to jump the line and make sure that it's answered, that's the way to do it. We will try to answer, of course, as many other questions as we possibly can. First, this is a good time to remind you that if you haven't tried Underdog, you got time to use this free pick because Dak Prescott just needs 1 yard. That's right, 0.5 passing yards. You go higher and you win that pick. And then they have all sorts of promotions they've been doing throughout the week, been telling you about these. So that means if you sign up on Underdog for the very first time because you've never done it before, use that code ENDGAME because it gets you whatever their new special is for the week, for the day, plus that free pick of Dak Prescott. And you still get up to $1,000 bonus cash in your deposit match, 50%. Just make sure you use code ENDGAME to take advantage of that and everything else that they have to offer. And pick'ems are live, been live, and you can continue to get whatever special they have there. Take advantage of the boosters. I think yesterday was like a 20% profit boost. Before that, it was a 30%. Always something. So definitely check that out. And then don't forget, of course, about Draft Lane is our app. You can do exactly what you would do here on the live show. Start sit questions, trade questions, waiver wire. I know you're like, drafts are over. Draft Lane isn't just for draft help. Of course, the draft pilot was a very huge success, I think, in our very first pilot of the draft pilot. And hopefully it helped a lot of you build great teams. But guess what? Things happen. Injuries are already happening. Maybe you want to trade and do something. You need help on the waiver wire. So the questions you ask on there, we will answer as soon as possible. So again, the app is free. Just go to App Store, Play Store, and download Draft Lane. And you can just go to draftlane.com, and there it is right there. It'll take you to whatever store you need to go to download this app and check out all the features. It also keeps track of your standings for both Yahoo and Sleeper. It tracks, it does all sorts of things. So if you haven't tried it yet, check it out. All right, but let's start with the first super chat, and it's Dan O. So shout out for a stream that isn't 3 a.m. in Europe. Now, actually, it's a little early for us. Normally, we'll do the later afternoon. You know, most people, it's early for me. I know that. It's just that's the way we got. Sometimes we have to plan around football. Got college football going on today, so that's the reason. But normally for this Saturday stream, we'll do it like 4 hours later. So just keep that in mind. So he wants thoughts on his team. It's an 8-teamer.
All right.
Half PPR. Kyler and Jake Ferguson, CD, Wilson, Kupp, Waddle, Devontae Smith. Brian Thomas Jr. and JMO. Got Gibbs and Monty. Mostert, Connor, Moss, Dowdle, Hollywood, waivers, Brooks, and Corum. Okay. Would you stash either of those guys?
I might pick up. Well, I mean, if Brooks is on the waiver wire, nobody's picking up Brooks right now because he's not going to play this week. It's not like he's going to do something this week where people are going to be running out to the waiver wire saying like, oh my gosh, I got to get Jonathan Brooks. He's going to do nothing this week. So if nobody in your league wants Jonathan Brooks, they're not going to want Jonathan Brooks next week. So, and I already said, as much as I want to put Corum on my roster, I think I prefer Dowdle just because, again, I mean, obviously if Kyron Williams goes down this week, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I had Corum on my bench already. But if he doesn't, chances are nobody's rushing out to pick up Blake Corum next week. If Dowdle gets, if Dowdle is the RB1 in Dallas and Dowdle has a nice game, people are going to be like, oh, I need to go pick up Rico Dowdle. He's the RB1 in Dallas. So I think I leave. So as far as the waiver wire goes, I think I leave it the way you have it. But just be ready, next week. If Dowdle goes out there and it's like a complete committee with him and Zeke and maybe even Dalvin Cook or whoever, then okay, maybe drop Dowdle and pick up Corum at that point. But right now I roll with what you got. As far as your team, I mean, wide receivers are stacked. QB's elite. Tight end is good for an 8-teamer. It's good for an 8-teamer. I like Ferguson. Running backs are good. Obviously, RB2, a little weak for an 8-teamer here, but again, like I always say, if that's your weakness, that's okay. I just really feel like, and I probably should talk about this more during the lead up to draft season, because when I make strategy videos, like, you know, drafts, or when we make draft strategy videos, I think you're the same way, Pierre. I'm always coming from the mindset of a 12-team league, like how I would draft in my 12-team leagues, because that's pretty much all I play in, 12 or deeper. Right. But when I see these rosters with like these 8 and 10-team rosters, and I see like you're stacked, like obviously, I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Brian Thomas Jr., Hollywood on your IR slot. Like, okay, like you have an abundance of insane wide receivers, but it's an 8-team league. You don't need an abundance of insane wide receivers. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's an 8-team league. So I don't know. Maybe next year, you're going to have to do more, if I remember, do more videos. Like, okay, if you're in an 8-teamer, don't you got to draft this? You got to just, it's like, it's your starting lineup, right? It's all that matters is just get a stacked starting lineup, because there's going to be guys on the waiver wire. I mean, like Brooks and Corum are on the waiver wire. So all that being said, it's an 8-teamer. It's very good. It's not like stacked. I'll say an 8.
Yeah, thinking the same, about an 8. And that's exactly right, because when you get to like your 4th, 5th receiver, it's like you can't start them all.
Right.
You know, and I don't know how many you start, but here's the thing. It's like I would even think with this one, because your RB2s, they're all solid, but for an 8-teamer, a lot of other teams are going to have better RB2s. Like I'm all in on Jameson Williams this year, but for an 8-teamer, look at those receivers. You should never have to start Jameson Williams or Brian Thomas Jr. And you got Hollywood as like your 6th receiver, and he's going to come back probably next week. What I would do is I would just go ahead and put Brooks on your IR and just stash him and put Hollywood, because Hollywood's not going to qualify at IR very long anyways. And then you probably could just drop like either Thomas or Williams and stash Corum, because the upside Corum could bring you as a running back is much higher than whatever those receivers are going to bring you. True. You really don't even need either of those receivers for this format. But it's still a very good team. All right, here we go. The Higgins question. So Harry, yeah, it was also, that's kind of extra special that we didn't find out till Friday after these games. Could have played worthy. I know. Okay, so what about Alex being a 16-teamer? Got to replace Higgins. Oh, and these are the choices.
Well, it's a 16-teamer. It is what it is. I'm going to go with Cedric Tillman here. I don't know how much Vidal we see this week. I mean, Colby Parkinson, a tight end, you're just like praying he scores.
Yeah.
Javon Baker, I don't even know how much he's going to play. Tillman looks like the number 2 wide receiver in Cleveland for whatever that's worth. I mean, these are all dice rolls, but at least give me the guy who's the number 2 wide receiver on his offense. So I'll just gamble with Tillman.
Yeah, when they asked, the Chargers, I think it was Roman, was saying it's going to be a hot hand thing we'll see between Gus and Dobbins. Didn't even mention Vidal. Like, he's not going to get on the field. He's not, right? He's a rookie running back who was a late pick. Baker, I already told you I don't trust anybody in that receiving core. Maybe DeMario Douglas. No, not Baker. And then, like you said, Parkinson's TD or bust. Probably bust. So just go Tillman. All right, so Boomer, not thrilled, particularly with the Chase thing too. It's like holding out or you're not. He's like, I think I'll show up to practice, but then I won't. It's really aggravating.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Chase enough in the little intro there. We just kind of glossed over the fact that he's questionable. But I've never heard a player call themselves a game time decision and then say, if I play, I'll be limited.
Yeah, he said that.
Like, this is what Chase said. Like, who is in control of this team? Jamar Chase or Zach Taylor? Like, who's running this team here? Like, what's going on? Like, I mean, what do you even do? Like, if Chase plays tomorrow, do you trust him? Do you just say, well, it's Jamar Chase, I guess I got to play him? Or are you worried that he'll just take himself, he'll go out there, he'll run one like route at like 75% effort and then like wave for like whoever, Jermaine Burton, to come in
Yeah.
or something.
Sure.
Like,
Well, it won't be Jermaine Burton. Now, that's one thing they've been very clear about. Like, he's not going to play because apparently he hasn't been professional or fell
okay,
asleep in a meeting or something.
well, you don't have Higgins. You don't have Burton, apparently. Jamar Chase is going to be like, yeah, I don't feel like playing this snap. You got Yosevich, and then who else? Who else are you throwing out there? I mean, you might have to put Burton out there.
Trenton Irwin.
Trenton Irwin, hey man, he's come through he's come through before, so maybe. Anyways, if Chase doesn't play, or you're like, I don't even want to deal with it, and assuming it's PPR, I'll go Deontay.
Yeah.
If it's half or none, I might go Monty, because I do like Monty this week. I think Monty could find the end zone against the Rams. But if it's PPR, I'll go Deontay.
Right. If it's standard, maybe Monty. Otherwise, go Deontay. He should have a pretty good game, and you can feel solid. And if you're asking me straight up, if I'm in the exact same situation, I'm gonna sit Chase. I don't want to deal with it. Just don't. Mary Jo, welcome. Defense, you go Bengals or Vikings?
I still go Bengals. I mean, I was Bengals. I mean, Vikings certainly a great matchup against Daniel Jones, but Bengals I feel like a little bit better of a defense than the Vikings. Not that either defense is elite, and I just feel like at least the Giants have some potential. Like Daniel Jones could run in a touchdown. Malik Neighbors could do like what we saw Xavier Worthy or Jaden Reed do, where like he takes a jet sweep 30 yards for a touchdown or something like that, right? Like he takes a jet sweep 30 yards for a touchdown. Who's going to do that on the Patriots? Like who's doing that on the Patriots? Like
Nobody.
I just feel better about the Bengals going against that Patriots offense, but both good choices.
Right. These are two of the best choices, honestly. You stream defense, which is a great strategy. Not saying you have to, but this is why. These teams are pretty much widely available. I'd go Bengals too. Because, look, if anything else, I guess you could think of it this way. If we don't have T. Higgins and or maybe half of a Jamar Chase or whatever, it's not going to be a high-scoring game on either side, right? This is just going to be a slog. It's going to be boring. It's going to be like a 13-10 kind of game.
Right.
I think the Bengals are just going to run more. So anyways, I'll go with the defense in this case. Let's follow that up with a couple before we get to the next super chat. We do have several, but these are good, very valid questions. So Diamond Boy Trucking, LLC. All right. Would you start Jaden Daniels in his very first start over Joe Burrow?
I might. I think this is where I feel comfortable because Jaden Daniels will at least give you that rushing upside. I mean, we saw that with Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson was not good on Thursday night at all. I mean, Zay Flowers should have had like how many points? Zay Flowers should have had such a huge get. But he went out there and ran for like a bazillion yards, and he ended up having a big fantasy game. That's the power. That's the power of the rushing QBs, and Joe Burrow's not going to do that, and especially in this game, like the Patriots aren't going to like force Joe Burrow out of the pocket relentlessly. So, yeah, I would probably go Jaden Daniels over Burrow.
Right. I think so because, again, Higgins is pretty much out, doubtful, out. Chase, who knows? I just don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'll just go Jaden Daniels. And then here's an interesting one. A question you didn't think you were going to have to deal with in week 1. Would you go Yoshi, who I guess is maybe the number 1 receiver in Cincinnati, or Chase Brown?
I don't know. I feel like Yoshi is Yosevich, right? I feel like he's gonna be a trap. Like people are gonna get all like people are like he's gotten so much preseason buzz. No T. Higgins, maybe no Chase. You gotta roll with him. And then like you said, what's gonna happen? Burrow's gonna attempt like 25 passes. A handful will go to him. A handful will go to Irwin. A handful will go to like Chase Brown out of the backfield. A handful will go to like Mike Gesicki. A handful will go to some other random dudes. You know what I mean? That we aren't even thinking about right now or whatever. and everybody will be like, "Oh, that was a trap." So I'm gonna go Chase Brown. Like you said, I feel like the Bengals, they're probably just gonna say, "Hey, look, it's week 1. It's the Patriots. We don't need to be out there dropping back 35, 40 times. Just, Zach Moss can't get all the touches here. Give me Chase Brown."
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Trenton Irwin is the leading receiver for the Bengals.
Right.
And I say that because we've seen it before.
Yep.
And sure, I'm to some extent not buying the hype, but I'm buying into Yosevich being fantasy viable. I don't know if it's going to happen in week 1. And I also don't know if I'm going to want to start him over anybody else that I might have. Chase Brown, I still like Chase Brown. I've been saying Zach Moss just because I feel like early in the season and in a game like this where they should be running ahead, which, by the way, and I already said this publicly on the Discord, so it's not like a secret. I don't care. On our Survivor League, I had the Bengals locked in. I was picking Bengals easy week 1 win, and I took it off. I changed it. I mean,
you think even without T. Higgins and a limited Jamar Chase, the Patriots could pull off the upset?
I mean, I don't think the Patriots will win, but I changed my pick because now I'm like, who knows what's going on there in Cincinnati. This is maybe more just regret that I drafted any Bengals. But anyways, I'll go Chase Brown here. I guess is the bottom line. This game will be interesting. Guess who's in the house? We talk about OGs, a lot of our regulars. I think maybe the OG, Dirty Dollar Bill.
What is up, Dollar Bill? How you been, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, look, this channel's been around a couple of years. In the Discord I mentioned, we got some of our guys from the very beginning who were with us. Dollar Bill was one of the first in the Discord.
No, absolutely. Like in 2020 when we had like nobody, yes, he was legit one of, if not the first.
All right, so just shout out to Bill. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Okay, but we do have some super chats to get to, and let's get to. But did you die?
I don't know. I mean, we're only two games into week 1, and I'm already feeling like, oh my god. You know what's? I was thinking about this last night actually before I was going to bed. I was like, as excited as I am for football and fantasy to be back, I'm already going to bed on Friday night, stressed out. Like, oh my gosh, are all the Packers players done in fantasy? Like, is this it? Are we already gonna have to, like, next week when we do our start sits? Are we gonna have to be talking about like, okay, Jaden Reed, he's got Malik Willis now, or he's got Ryan Tannehill, or he's got Sean Clifford? What do you do with them? What do you do with these guys? Like, I'm already like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? It's like, already.
You mentioned that, and I just saw this. Yeah, now that makes a little bit of anxiety spike in my heart when I see that. I mean,
does this get you more like? Is this like, well, it's okay, they got Ryan Tannehill? I mean, like, come on.
Is it okay? No.
There's no. I mean, you can't even bank on like, when we can go out and get Flacco. No, he's on the Colts. Shane Steichen's not giving up Flacco.
Yeah. Well, let's see. That Jordan Love has not been ruled out for the season as of right now, thankfully, but we'll see. I would just say this is as you know, and Boomer's been making fun of, you being so all in on Christian Watson. Yeah, if it's Ryan Tannehill, I think that's just, we're done with that.
Oh, no. Like, honestly, if it's anybody but Jordan Love, or if they pull off some trade to go get like Jameis Winston or something like that, Jaden Reed, flex at best. Christian Watson, no thank you. Romeo Dobbs, no thank you. Dontavian Wicks, no thank you. No thank you.
So okay, but this happens. It's fantasy football. Of course, we have an injury in the second game of the season.
A game of attrition more than anything.
Yeah, but did you die? Not yet. 3 flex spots have Tank, Coleman, and B-Rob starting. Pitts, Chase Brown, Gus Edwards, and Jacoby Myers, I guess, are the other options.
Well, I definitely go Gus over Brian Robinson. I feel just way better about Gus's matchup this week. Not liking Brian Robinson's matchup or that offensive line in front of him. So I'm going to go Gus over Brian Robinson for sure. Tank, you got to leave in, of course. You can't bench Tank. I'm debating Myers over Keon Coleman. That one is close for me.
Would you consider Chase Brown now,
I
what we
mean,
talked about.
like, I don't think no, I don't think just because T. Higgins is out and possibly Jamar Chase decides to bench himself doesn't make me like all of a sudden like all in on Chase Brown. Myers Coleman, I think that one's really close. I might just gamble on Coleman and see if he's the one in Buffalo, because I'm pretty sure Myers is not going to be the one in Las Vegas, even though I did come around on him towards the end of the season. So I'll just do Gus over Brian Robinson.
Well, yeah, I definitely am in on Gus this week. You all know that. You saw the video. I'm sticking right now, since nothing outside of those two games has happened. I'm sticking to my preseason valuations, which means I'm not starting Keon Coleman because I didn't draft Keon Coleman. And it's week 1. This guy needs some time, right? He's playing. I'm still for now in on Kyle Pitts. I'll throw Pitts in there and see what happens, right? I would sit Coleman and B-Rob for Edwards and Pitts. I think you can consider Myers too if you want to feel a little bit safer, but safe doesn't always win. Let's go to the next super chat. But first, this is a very interesting and valid question.
All right.
Is it too early to sell high, especially when the quarterback is in question? Andrew Burwell, do I trade Jaden Reed because he had a big game and his quarterback's hurt?
Well, I'll say the same thing I always say. Like, if you can truly sell high, you sell high. Now, I always hesitate to say this because I know I'm going to trigger people. But the facts are the facts. Jaden Reed was great last night, no doubt about it. But he had a 70-yard touchdown on a completely blown coverage by the Eagles secondary, which I talked about. Unfortunately, Christian Watson did not boom. I mean, he didn't bust, but he didn't boom. But I talked about how that Eagles secondary is going to be terrible, and they were terrible last night. I mean, that was just a complete – there's no excuse for that blown coverage. Like, they had a cover 3, and they just let Jaden Reed, like, run uncovered for basically a 70-yard touchdown. Inexcusable. And he also had that very nice run on the jet sweep. But he's not going to do that every week. Like, no one's going to do that every week, right? No one's going to get a 30-yard touchdown on a jet sweep and a 70-yard touchdown on a blown coverage. 4 targets last night? Like, nobody really showed that they're going to be a target monster. Jaden, like, let's assume Jordan Love is healthy all year, which I really hope he is, because I drafted a lot of Packers wide receivers and a lot of Jordan Love in best ball this year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like, there's going to be a week like we saw where Jaden Reed goes off. There might be a week where Romeo Doubs has 2 touchdowns. Look, Christian Watson had 4 throws to him in the end zone. You know how valuable that is? Like, he could have easily had 2 or 3 touchdowns last night, just as easily as he only had 1. Like, we're going to see weeks where Christian Watson has a 2 touchdown games. We might see weeks where Dontavian Wicks goes off. So, yes, I would be willing to sell high on Jaden Reed, like I would be willing to sell high on anybody if you're actually selling high. I'm not trading Jaden Reed just because he had a nice game. Like, I'm like, oh, he had a big game, let me get rid of him. But if you can actually sell high and get an upgrade, either at, probably a running back or whatever, then sure, go ahead. But also, you have to also think that other people in your league saw that game and they know Jordan Love might be out for a long time. So that could make it tough.
I mean, if your thought here, Andrew, is, well, I'm worried about Love, I should sell Reed while I can. Probably everybody else in your league is worried about Love too, and they know this. So just take that into consideration. And then we don't know. I mean, what if they're like 1, maybe 2 weeks and he'll be back? Well, then are you glad you traded Jaden Reed? I mean, it depends what you got back for him. Right. I will say this real quick before we move on is Christian Watson gets, for whatever reason, because he's not like a big receiver, he gets peppered in the end zone because even though technically Romeo Doubs led the Packers in end zone targets and receptions last year, that's because Christian Watson didn't play half the season. Yeah. Christian Watson had almost as many, and when he's out there, he is among the leaders in end zone targets. I'm not talking red zone, end zone. So he will get touchdowns, and I know you don't like to chase touchdowns, but that's touchdown upside you want to chase if it's out there.
It's funny because on the Discord last night, so he got that end zone target on the first drive. He got 2 end zone targets the next time they got near the goal line. And one throw probably should have been a touchdown, but it looked like he might have slipped a little bit, and the defender kind of shoved him off balance a little bit. And then on the next drive, when they got to the 1 yard line, I'm thinking like, okay, they're going to give it to Josh Jacobs, and he's going to plunge in for the end zone. Nope, they called a quick slant to Christian Watson. He was matched up on Gardner Johnson, total mismatch. Quick slant right to him for the touchdown. I literally said in the Discord, Christian Watson is the goal line wide receiver.
Yes.
Like, we don't really say who's the goal line back. No, he's the goal line wide receiver. Like, they get near the end zone, they're literally dialing up plays just for Christian Watson. Now, he's going to be volatile because, again, like all these Packers wide receivers, he's not going to get a huge target share like we saw last night, but this guy's going to have a chance to score a touchdown every game. Of course, assuming Jordan Love is okay. If Jordan Love is out, I'm out. I'm out on Watson. Out.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Which is funny. We were worried about Watson's health, and now it's Love's health we got to worry about. It's just weird. It's like he's Gronk or something. Like, this guy's not 6'6", and like just this huge mismatch at the goal line. But I don't know that, and more than half of them don't even connect. But they know it. Let's keep trying it and see if it works. And eventually, it does work. But all right, good question, Andrew. Sir Boomer wants to know. We didn't really get into this, and I don't know how deep we can get into this, but Isaiah Likely.
All right,
Dad.
I'm sure you're going to talk about him on the waiver wire video. I'm going to talk about him on 2 videos this week. I already have my notes ready for it because I don't want to get to Sunday night and already forget. So I already put notes in for it. Certainly, I think Likely is going to have a role this year. I think we're going to see the Ravens run more 2 tight end sets this year than they did last year. And I think Likely is going to have a role. But there was actually a great Twitter thread by one of the footballers, the fantasy footballers, Andy, I think. Andy, is that his name? And he watched the film. The Chiefs' game plan against the Ravens, for whatever reason, always is they just bracket Mark Andrews. They're basically like, we are going to take Mark Andrews out of the game, and you're beat us with other people. And it keeps working. And you watch that game, they were literally double teaming Mark Andrews. Like, Mark Andrews still ran more routes than Isaiah Likely. He still played more snaps than Isaiah Likely. I think Mark Andrews is going to be okay. But I think Isaiah Likely will also be like a low-end tight end one. Like, if you drafted somebody, well, we haven't seen him yet, but let's just say you drafted Colby Parkinson and Isaiah Likely is on the waivers. Like, I'll probably prefer Likely to guys like that rest of the season. But more than likely, this was the best game we saw from Likely. More than likely, this is the best game Isaiah Likely will have all year, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Don't go out and drop whatever tight end you drafted, assuming you drafted a top 10 to 12 tight end. Now, if you drafted Colby Parkinson, fine. But let's not drop Jake Ferguson, David Njoku, and those guys to get Isaiah Likely. It's probably more than likely that this was his best game all season. But I mean, I guess if you got him late in best ball, underdog, sure, you're happy, but don't start counting your money yet either.
I love the week one. I love the week one. People were like, I drafted so much of this guy. I drafted so much of this. Like, I thought best ball was all about the end of the season.
That's the best. The guy and so I saw one guy, I don't remember his name. I'd never heard before. It's like, this is why you follow me, because I told you Isaiah Likely could have a role. It's like, enjoy your 15 minutes of, I don't even know if it's fame. Colin Smith, PPR start 2, Kirk, BTJ, Yoshi, or Bowers?
All right, well, you got to go Kirk here. He's head and shoulders above all these guys. I'm not going to fall for the Josevich trap. Maybe he scores or something. Bowers, first NFL game, a tight end. I'm just going to go with the 2 Jags and hope one of them has a big game, or maybe they both have like good games. I'm going the 2 Jags.
Yeah, Kirk stands head and shoulders above these guys in terms of start sit. Do you take a chance on the rookie in Jacksonville or the number 1 question mark receiver in Cincinnati, which again, I know that seems tempting, but this is probably going to be a trap. I would even go BTJ here. All right. And then just some shout outs. Tris, happy Saturday. Or put another way, happy Sunday football Eve.
Definitely.
Elmer Sanchez, Higgins out pretty much, needs to replace a flex. Got Kirk, Mostert, Javonte, or BTJ. Is it Kirk again?
Yeah, I'll say in PPR it's Kirk again. In non PPR, I'll go Mostert because I just think he has way more touchdown upside. I mean, I don't even think that's like a spicy take by any stretch. I think everybody would agree with that. But if it's PPR, I'll go Kirk. PPR Kirk, non PPR Mostert.
Half PPR, Kirk, right?
Half PPR, I might go Mostert honestly because again, like I don't. I'm not feeling like a big Kirk game. I'm not feeling like he's. It's always like Kirk is one of those guys I feel really good about in PPR leagues. Like I know he's not gonna crush me. He's not gonna hurt me probably. But I also like touchdown upside isn't huge for Christian Kirk. He's not the guy they look to a lot in the red zone. I feel like we'll see probably a lot of Emmett Ingram this year in the red zone. So in half PPR, I still kind of want to chase that touchdown upside with Mostert, I think.
All right, well, there you go. I mean, it's interesting that same game, right? Miami, Jacksonville. We expect there to be a fair amount of points. Jacksonville's defense is not bad. They've definitely improved. Miami should be less bad than last year, but they do have some injuries.
Right.
We'll see about Jalen Ramsey. I expect Kirk to get a lot of targets, a lot of action, because again, maybe this is the optimistic Dolphin in me, but I hope that Miami puts up a lot of points in the first half and they just have to pass to get back into it. And that also would mean good things for Mostert, right? Because that means they can afford to run and run from ahead. I still think Kirk is a very, very valid option there. So unless it's standard, I would go Kirk. All right, and then Anthony Giangregorio. B-Rob or Ford. And yeah, either way, I'm going not T. Higgins.
Yeah, I'm going. I don't. If they say tomorrow morning, like, oh, he's gonna play, like, nope. I've done this before, and then he plays like one snap or doesn't play. Like, he just stands on the sideline, right, and does nothing. Not playing T. Higgins. I'm going Ford here again. Brian Robinson very concerned about the offensive line. Don't love the matchup for Brian Robinson. I know a lot of people are worried about Ford's matchup, but the Cowboys not a strong run defense, and I don't think that interior is going to be one of their strengths this year. And he's behind a top 5 offensive line in an offense that will probably lean pretty heavily on the running game, and he catches passes. So I'm going for it.
Yeah, going to go Ford here too. Remember this Cowboys defense. Don't be surprised if it's not quite as strong as it was last year. I know they got Zimmer there, but still, this is going to be an adjustment, but also missing top corner Bland. That makes a difference. But anyways, yeah. All right, and then we have a return of some of our other regulars. Amy.
What's up, Amy?
Girl, back to win another season. Thank you. Now, before we get to the next super chat, also, I think we should get to this. Wilson M. says he's going to be starting a fantasy advice club at school. How would you do this? This could be tricky, and this kind of goes to what we do. It's like, how do you not feel responsible?
Right.
Yeah.
My advice is don't do it.
Well, all right. That makes it easy.
I mean, I don't know how you are during the season, Pierre, but like if Christian Watson went to score that touchdown last night, I probably would have had a sleepless night because I feel so bad. I just feel bad because I tell so many people start Christian Watson, and then if he went out there and just had like 2 catches for 15 yards or whatever he would have had, I would have been like, oh man, what did we ruined people's fantasy weeks already. So no, he didn't boom, but at least he wasn't like he didn't kill your week. You're still fine if you had Christian Watson. So unless you want to show up to school on Monday and everybody be like, dude, you told me to start this guy and he did dude, you don't even know what you're talking. Like, then don't do it. Cause that's what's gonna, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe people at your school are cool, but that's what you gotta, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there who, just want to tell you how dumb you are. So maybe it's different at your school. I don't know, but yeah, my advice is don't do it.
I would say it's true. Yeah, you're talking about school. I'm assuming high school.
Right.
I wouldn't do anything like that with people that you have to see every single day in person, potentially friends or whatever. I mean, yeah, it could go wrong in a hurry. Now, if you want to do some sort of a fantasy club where you talk about it, I mean, it doesn't have to be you, like I'm the
Right.
expert, I'm giving you my advice. It could be, well, you just break down the matchups and talk about it just for fun, which I'm assuming that's what it's for anyways, not you're trying to make a dime off of this.
Right. Yeah.
Because if it's a school thing, then you probably wouldn't be able to anyways. So yeah, just make it like a fantasy discussion club, right? And you could give your opinions, but not be responsible, right? It's like, look, and then if you do something like this, you just set out from the beginning. You have to have norms, right? You have to have like rules. Number one, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own team of decisions. You just put that out there. Put that out there in writing. I'm serious. Put it out there. I know I used to really sweat like, man, I said the wrong thing, or I thought this would happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. If y'all knew what was going to happen, you wouldn't be asking these questions anyways, right? I feel like we're pretty informed and we think we know what might happen. But if you expect, that we're like the human Ouija boards, then your expectations are a little bit off, right? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know what I would do. And, we spend a lot of time researching, but at the end of the day, it is your team. You don't have to take this advice. So Wilson,
just tell them that, right? Say, hey, at the end of the day, I'm just giving you my best advice based on the research I've done. If you don't want to take it, that's fine. If you do, understand that I'm not always going to be right.
There you go. We're not always going to be right. That's pretty obvious, but I think we helped quite a few people. We have a lot of people came back at the end of this last season and tell us, thank you for helping me win my championship. So I feel like we're doing something right.
Yeah, I like to hope I'm more right than wrong, at least.
I think so. I think let's not get into the whole humble brag thing, but I guess we're here for a reason, right? I have Higgins in my flex spot. Best replacement, got Mostert, already has Chan. Here are the other options, though. Dunze, Moss, JSN, Palmer.
Again, I'm probably just going Mostert. I know you have Mostert and Chan, but there were plenty of weeks last year where both these guys were great. Like Odunze, JSN, sure, but also risky. Palmer, risky. Look, there is a chance Moss just gets 20 carries in this game and he has a great game, but I don't know. I think I'm just gambling on Mostert.
This one is tough. This one is actually pretty tough. I'd say I can leave Palmer out because don't know how much they're going to pass the ball. Not sure about Herbert's health. Mostert is totally fine to start. I think it's okay to have the Dolphins running backs. I like Moss, but do I really like Moss better than Mostert for upside? I don't think so. JSN is the one where I really wonder because, people talk about with DK, like what about, Patrick Surtain going to be on him? What does that mean for JSN? It could mean he goes off. I like JSN in full PPR. The question is, do I like him better than Mostert? So I'm going to say it's one of those two. Again, not knowing the future. I'd say if you want the more risky upside pick, it's JSN. And if you are just going to say, look, I'm good with the Dolphins running game, which you should be, then you can go Mostert. Got Vinny. What's up, Vinny? At the flex, Godwin, Waddle, Gus, or Pittman.
This has got to be like an 8-teamer, right?
I think he had a 10-teamer. I think one of his leagues is a 16 and the other is like a 10. I think this is a 10-teamer.
I think I got to go Waddle here. I do really like Godwin this week, but I also really like Waddle this week. I also really like Pittman. I can easily scratch off Gus when we're talking about PPR league and these guys. I'm going to go Waddle.
Yeah, Gus in full PPR doesn't need to hang with these guys. Godwin, great matchup, great upside, but I don't like him better than those two. So it's either Pittman or Waddle. Those are the two choices here. Again, maybe I'm seeing Aqua, but I'll go Waddle too. What's up, Dan? Dan Fuller, always in the house. Let's see. It's probably down here. By the way, guys, if you did super chat in the past, let's say half hour, we are still getting to your questions, so don't worry. We'll answer them all. Love did go down. So picked up Geno, which is, yes, a better option than those two.
Yes.
I'll pass and got DK too. Okay, so Geno is probably the guy you would go here.
Yeah, that was smart. And that actually, Dan, I'm glad you brought this up because this is a good point. If you're in a league, if you have Jordan Love, and there's a halfway decent quarterback on the waiver wire right now, and you have a bench spot, you should probably pick that quarterback up before he plays, because in case he goes off this week and then people are trying to pick him up next week, just go grab him now. So, I mean, if there's like a ton of quarterbacks available on your waiver wire, okay, don't worry about it. But yeah, if you're staring down, Geno, Darnold, Minshew, Carr, Wilson, smart move. Go get Geno now and not worry about it next week.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know, but it seems like a decent chance Love might miss at least a week. So why not get that quarterback now if he's out there? Now, my question, which he didn't ask, is would you take a chance on Justin Fields or just go Geno?
Well, I mean, Fields might be worth putting on your bench because you've already played Love, right? If you have Jordan Love, you've already started him. So it's not like you can't play Justin Fields this week, obviously.
Right.
But if Fields goes out there and let's say like throws for a touchdown, 200 yards, and runs for like 80 yards and a touchdown, he's gonna be a hot waiver wire pickup next week because we don't know if how long Russ is gonna be out for. So yeah, if you want to stash Fields, you got Love, you want to stash Fields, see what he does. Because worst case, if Fields goes out there and throws 3 interceptions and is terrible, okay, you just drop him next week.
Right. And I'm guessing since you're the one who has Jordan Love, probably nobody's picking up Geno anyways, right? Because why do they need him if he's on the waiver wire? Nobody else should need a quarterback, hopefully. So yeah, you could do that if you want to roll the dice on Fields. All right, Isaac is back. What's up, Isaac? Zamir or Ridley in the flex? Yes, we do think Zamir's going to get the volume. And yes, D-Hop is questionable. And that's right. Ridley did say he's going to use him like Jamar Chase. But what do you think?
But he doesn't have Joe Burrow. He's got Will Levis.
Right.
I'm probably going Zamir here. I don't know. I've been down on Ridley. It's a tough matchup against the Bears. He's going to get Jalen Johnson a lot. It's not like he has a great matchup. I do like Zamir's matchup a lot. Antonio Pierce talking like we got to get this guy 15, 20, 25 carries. Like he said last year and like he said all offseason. I'm going Zamir.
Yeah, and I do like Ridley, but I don't like the matchup. Road against the Bears, he'll get Jalen Johnson. I like Ridley overall as a solid option, but I think this week I'm just going to go with Zeus. I think this is a good game for him. It's a good matchup. So, like you said, Chargers have not shown that they can stop the run for a couple of years. So let's go with Zamir this one. Will Davies, 10-team standard. Waddle, Godwin, McLaurin, or Deontay?
Wow. Standard scoring. None of these guys are really like huge touchdown threats, right? It's not like a guy like a Mike Evans where you feel like he can score any given week. But I do feel like Waddle probably has the most touchdown upside here because he can always score on a long play or something, or even a catch and run. So I'm going to go Waddle.
Yeah, you're not chasing, but maybe looking for the most touchdown upside. Deontay is more valuable in a full PPR league, right? Yeah. And then we already basically answered between Waddle and Godwin. Give the slight edge to Waddle. Yeah, go Waddle too. Okay, so Jordan Olson. Are you worried about Jordan Love? Yeah.
I mean, you have to be worried. Yeah, you got to be worried about Jordan Love. Look, we're probably gonna find out later today the official word, but you got to be worried. I mean, it'd be shocking if they're like he's fine, he's gonna play week 2. The hope is maybe he misses a week 2, 3, right? Something like that. But you got to be a little worried for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna reserve judgment until I hear something official. Still in on Flowers.
Yes. I mean, you look at Flowers, everything was up from last year. He ran 92% of the routes, which is huge. His target share was up to like 24%, I think. His first read percentage was over 30%. These are all elite numbers. The only downside was his ADOT was 6.1. That's terrible. But I wonder how much of that was like it looked like the Ravens' game plan was just to run these short little routes, and if they're not there, just have Lamar take off. Like it looked like that was a Ravens game plan to me. Let's not forget he should have scored a touchdown at the end of the game, but he had like 9 targets in this game. He's clearly the number one there. Yeah, it's gonna. I'm still all in on Flowers, definitely.
Yeah. Let's remember, not just, it's only been one game, but also this is a game on the road against the champs and a pretty good team. And they obviously have the Ravens number in a lot of ways. So don't take too much. And I saw a stat, which was really more a Derrick Henry stat, but just in general, that projected the rest of the season, the Ravens are, expected to win all but like one game, at least to be ahead. I mean, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
and Jordan,
week one. Week one teaches us nothing. I even posted this in the Discord. The top 13 scorers after week one last year. Mac Jones was one of the top quarterbacks. Tyler Algier was like the RB2. Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers were like the two of the best wide. Like week one, we don't know any. Week one doesn't tell us anything. It's just a random football game where random stuff can happen. But I love the usage Zay Flowers got. He's going to be great this year.
Yes, he will be great. Don't worry, Isaiah likely won't be the number one target every game the rest of the season either. Razel 820, thank you. The super chat there. I have not seen a question, and I've kind of scrolled up and down. So Razel, if we get to your question, don't worry, we'll pop it up there. Powerhouse Superflex lost love. That hurts a little bit more. So only Carr available. You can take Carr, right?
Yeah, and definitely if you have room, especially in a Superflex league, if you have room on your bench, like if you have somebody like a deep running back or wide receiver flyer, I would just drop them and pick up Carr.
Right. Yeah. Having a starting quarterback's a lot more important in a Superflex league. Look, Carr, I know it's not your first choice, but he's something. He's better than nothing.
Yep.
And this hurts. The Rush Lord is definitely hoping for good news. He says all 3 leagues got love.
I mean, that hurts, and this is why we say, like, or if you hear sometimes if somebody asks the start sit question, like, okay, I can start, and they have the same guy in multiple lineups, we'll say maybe don't start him in all lineups, just in case. Also, like, yeah, if you're gonna do multiple leagues, maybe don't draft the same guys over and over if possible, just for this.
Right.
Unfortunately, let's hope it's not serious though.
Yeah, and we don't know yet. We don't have to like write his fantasy obituary just yet, but
right.
Yeah, maybe if you're in 3 leagues, maybe just one of them try a different quarterback, just because things like that. All right, Lex Dad is back. Rate this team. Not done with that yet. Half PPR. Hurts and Brown. All right, you're pretty happy. Puka, Rashad, Connor, Kincaid, Godwin, Javante, Ford, JMO, JK, Jalen Wright, Younghoe Koo, your favorite kicker, and the Ravens defense. And then also wants to know, would you go Kyler or Tua rest of season? Or wait, what? We have Jalen Hurts. This must be a different team.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope that's for a different team. I'm going Kyler over Tua rest of season. I'll answer that one first. As far as the team, doesn't say how many teams this is. I'm going to assume 12 team because you probably went AJ Brown, Puka to start. And then maybe you went Hurts in the third is my guess. Something like that. And then maybe Rashad White in the fourth, something like that. Or maybe White in the third, Hurts in the fourth. So I'm going to assume the 12-teamer here. AJ Brown, Puka, Chris Godwin, Jameson Williams. All right, solid at wide receiver. I mean, like AJ Brown, Puka is great at wide receiver. Godwin, Jameson, good. Not a lot of depth there. You got Rashad White, James Conner, Javonte Williams, Jerome Ford, J.K. Dobbins. Again, good at running back. Can't complain about that. You got Jalen Hurts. You got an elite tight end. Like, actually, if this is a 12-teamer for getting an elite tight end and an elite QB, you still did pretty well. So if this is a 10-teamer, I'm going to say 8.75. If it's a 12-teamer, I'm going to say 8.75. If it's a 10-teamer, I'll say an 8.
It's interesting because the receivers are more top heavy, right? You got studs like AJ Brown and Puka, and then you got Godwin's good, and then there's just one bench player who I think will be good, but not sure. And then the running backs, it's more just steady. You have depth, but you don't have a clear RB1, which is fine because you're stacked everywhere else. So I will say if it's a 12 teamer, it's like an 8.5 for me, which is what I think what it is. And then, yes, I'm going Kyler over Tua too, definitely. And if you do check, guys, if you haven't downloaded the Draft Lane app, you can still see our rankings there, preseason rankings for what it's worth. You can check those out. Ryan Donnell, rate this team. Well, first of all, it says Mostert or Javante.
Again, I mean, Javante probably has a higher floor because he'll catch more passes. And it is PPR, you said. But I think Mostert has a much higher ceiling this week. So just give me Mostert. Stroud and Tua. I got to go Stroud this week over Tua. Even though I do like Tua, I still got to go Stroud this week.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you got Stroud and Tua, Kincaid. Okay, so Saquon, Javante, Mostert, Dowdle. Well, Saquon was good for you last night, that's for sure. CD, London, Cup, Waddle, Dell. See, this is another team where I'm going to say, okay, it's a 10-teamer. You're absolutely stacked. I mean, CD, London, Cup, Waddle, Dell is your wide receiver 5. Jameson Williams is your wide receiver 6. But it's a 10-teamer. Do you need all these wide receivers? Which is, we normally say go, but like it's a 10-teamer. And look, you got Javante, Mostert, Dowdle. It's not like your RB2s are trash, but for a 10-teamer, I'd like a little bit higher upside RB2. But the rest of the team is great. So I'll say 8.5 for a 10-teamer.
Yeah, I'm going Mostert this week. You just need a floor, really. You already got Saquon, and Stroud's probably going to feast. So I think you're good week 1, but this is a very good 10-team. An 8-teamer, it's a little different. You might need that depth at some point. Receiver goes down, plus you have a bye week. So I think it's still pretty good. Javante, Mostert, Dowdle, you should be able to get a solid RB2 out of that group. So I'll say this like an 8.5 because you have Brooks stashed, which I like. All right, and then Twism, Warren or Gus?
I mean, even if the Chargers do go running back by committee, aren't the Steelers also going to go running back by committee? And probably with Cordero Patterson annoyingly mixed in as well. Give me Gus. Way better matchup, way more touchdown upside. Not tied to the evil Arthur Smith. Give me Gus.
Definitely going Gus here. I mean, Warren's playing, but is he really 100%? And do you really want to trust Arthur Smith backfield? So it's easily Gus for me. All right, Tristram's got a question. Was going to start Chase, Debo, and Higgins at the flex. So let's shift gears here. Well, these are the options: Eckler, Curtis Samuel, Xavier Gibson, Corum, Chandler, and Vidal. I know this is one of his famous 16-team leagues.
All right, let's start with if Chase and Higgins are both out. I'll go Curtis Samuel, Eckler, and just hope Eckler catches a bunch of dump-offs. If Chase plays, I'm not benching Chase for any of these guys. Like, I'll just take my chances on Chase playing 50, 60% of the snaps and still being better than any of these guys. So if Chase plays, I'll go Chase, Debo, Curtis Samuel. If both Chase and Higgins are out, I'll go Debo, Curtis Samuel, and Eckler.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel, I think is startable. He's in the flex conversation, and especially if this is a deeper league. Yeah, definitely. Vidal's not going to touch the ball. You can't take a chance on Corum. You really can't take a chance on Chandler. Probably won't be very involved. I think you're just going to have to go with Eckler as your number 2 choice there. This is how it is sometimes. Good morning, the Gaming Wolf.
What's up, Gaming Wolf? I know it's week 1. It's week 1. You think like, okay, I got my team, I got my line, I don't have to worry about it. And here we are talking about Eckler or Curtis Samuel over Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Stupid Bengals. I knew it. And then, of course, one of the OG members, Keith, calling out Zach Taylor. I have said this for a while, which is part of the reason I've always been kind of out on the Bengals. But anyways, he agrees with me. I know that because we're in that pool. Which, by the way, if you want in on it, and some people are like, "What are you talking about, Survivor pool?" If you join the Discord, if you're already in it, check
Yeah, let
that.
me
I
get
think
that.
it's in the startups, right? Keith, remind me if I'm wrong. The startups and orphans channel, I think is where we put it. But anyways, I don't think the Patriots going to upset them necessarily, but I don't want to put any more stock into the Bengals. Is all I'm saying. All right. And if you haven't joined the Discord, you know what I'm talking about. We'll put that link there. Let's go to the next one. Michael Barton. What's up, Michael? Javonte Williams or Raheem Mostert? Getting that question a lot.
Yeah, I just had this one again. Javonte probably the safer floor because of the pass catching, but I think Mostert more upside. I'm going Mostert.
Agree. Still agree. Going Mostert. Should I pick Josh Jacobs back up?
Wait,
Like,
when?
did you
Why
rage drop him?
did you rage drop him after the first half when he had 6 carries for 4 yards and Emmanuel Wilson looked 10 times better? Like, how? What do you mean? Yes, you should pick him back. Definitely pick him back up. Yes.
Yeah. He really didn't have that bad a game, anyways. Oh, no. Okay, he's saying, should I pick up Josh
Oh, his
Jacobs
backup.
back up Lloyd?
Well,
Got
okay, this is the
it. Okay.
interesting thing. I probably do still like Lloyd long term. But look, Emmanuel Wilson got a lot of really good buzz in camp, and he looked really good last night. So I don't know what's going to happen when Lloyd comes back. Are we going to see 3 running backs involved? Probably. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Lloyd is worth stashing.
I'm in on Lloyd. I've been in on Lloyd all preseason. Definitely think he's got some potential. So yeah, I pick him up if you can. Of course, don't drop anybody good. And then he's asking pick 2 here: Palmer, Pollard, Deontay, Chuba.
I assume we mean for this week. Let's not go too Carolina heavy here. I'm going to go Deontay and Pollard. Even though I know Pollard's going to be in a 50-50, he'll catch passes. I'm going to go I just don't know ceiling for Chuba. Give me Deontay and Pollard.
Yeah, definitely Deontay is here. Don't feel great about Tennessee's matchup in general. Pollard's going to be in that 50-50 split. We know this. In this case, I would take a chance on Palmer with Deontay. Maggie wants to know, in half PPR, which 3 out of this group, I mean, is this a case where we just don't take a shot on Chase because we don't have to? You got Nakua, Evans, Adams, and Dell.
I mean, yeah, definitely starting Puka and Evans this week. No doubters this week. Do I feel good enough about Adams or Dell to sit Chase? I don't know. I think it was me. I mean, if Chase is out, I'd probably still go Adams over Dell. He still should be the one there for whatever that's worth. I don't know. If Chase plays, I might still go Chase.
Well, I'm not going to take a chance and risk it unless before tomorrow we hear something like, yeah, he knows the team needs him. He's a full go. He's all in, whatever. Okay, fine. If Chase is playing like for real, okay, then I'll start him. If it's still this, well, we don't really know. Okay, no, forget it. Give me a guy like Devontae Adams, who is still clearly an alpha in that offense. Not against a bad matchup at all with the Chargers. So definitely Nakua and Evans, and then probably I'll go Adams unless something makes you feel good about Chase. All right, Jordan Olson did get that membership. Here's his first question as a new member / old member. I have Flowers as a flex behind Amon-Ra and DK. Who could he trade Flowers for or even worry about it? No, I'm not worried about Flowers. I mean, you trade him?
I'm not worried about it. And no, I mean, it's going to be hard to trade him right now because it's not like Flowers had a huge game. I don't think this is the time you want to be trading away Flowers. I feel I feel great about Flowers, honestly. I mean, he actually had more targets than that because he had some called back by penalty. I mean, it should have been a really big Flowers game. It's just one of those games, like you said. I think Lamar Jackson ran the ball the most of his entire career. Likely came out of nowhere. It's just one of those games. This is one of those games. I'm not. Don't overread into week one. It's not going to look anything like this by the end of the season. The guys that are the best scorers right now probably won't be the best scorers by the end of the year, more than likely. Because, in fact, the only one on that list of 13 that was actually good all year, well, only two, were Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill. Everybody else on that list disappeared by the end of the season. Don't overreact to week one.
Yeah, and remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Right.
So, no. Trone also re-upped on the membership for YouTube. Trone Force, 12-team PPR. Thankfully, dropped Alvin Cook for Jacoby Myers. Wants to know, would you drop Ray Davis for Gabe Davis?
Probably not. I don't have any hopes for Gabe Davis. And Ray Davis, probably the handcuff to James Cook, maybe. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a true handcuff to James Cook. We might just see a committee, but he seems the most likely next in line. So hold Ray Davis.
Yeah, you'd much rather have an RB with upside than the third receiver in Jacksonville, who we've seen what Gabe Davis can do. It's more annoying than anything. Ryan Leal traded my Allen for Goff in London because he was light on receiver. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's a win. I think Goff should be good enough, and you got what should be an elite receiver. And I do have some concerns about Josh Allen. I still think Josh Allen will be good, but I don't know if we're going to see quite the same Josh Allen we've seen the last 3 or 4 years. So I think that's a win for you.
Yeah, I'm getting a stud receiver. Goff is good enough. I think that's fine. Now, this is interesting. Traded Henry for Walker straight up.
Well, we'll see. I'm not like worried. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Henry is dust. I mean, I was saying all year, we're not going to see 1,500 yard Derrick Henry. We're going to see 1,100, maybe 1,200 yard Derrick Henry, but we're going to see 15 plus touchdown Derrick. Didn't you draft Derrick Henry for his incredible touchdown upside? And didn't you already get a touchdown on the very first? Like, what do you worry? You got exactly, like, if you expected Derrick Henry to be out there on third downs, I don't know what you were drafting the wrong guy. Derrick Henry is never out there on third downs. And it was one of those games where, again, they had to throw a lot, and Justice Hill is going to be the pass catching back. So in games where they're big underdogs, or they're underdogs, which, like you said, I think it's only like once or two more times a whole year, then yeah, we're going to see Henry a bit game scripted out, just like we saw in Tennessee. But when they're favorites and they're winning, we're going to see Derrick Henry rumble the 20 plus carries and be fine. So look, but I'll also say this: if Walker goes out there this week and actually does get targeted like 4, 5, 6 times and looks like a true 3-down back, then you're not going to regret this trade.
Yeah, you might not regret this trade because I'm all in on Walker this year, but I just don't understand the logic of doing that when you probably drafted Henry before Walker anyways. I'm not in any way worried remotely about Derrick Henry because he already scored a touchdown. Like you said, they were losing, not big, but they were down pretty much since midway of the second quarter. I mean, they couldn't just sit back and run the ball, and they will be able to sit back and run the ball plenty this year. So yes. I'm not worried at all about him. He's definitely not going to lead the league in receptions by running back like he never has in his career. And so that's fine. He still will score probably 15 touchdowns this year. So no worry. Okay, I know we're still catching up on super chats. Now, this one caught my eye, so let's see if we can quickly address this one. Conscious Machine. I mean, you really should already know the answer to this if you are a conscious machine. Someone dropped Lawrence this week. Would you use the number 3 waiver claim now to get him, or take a chance on Fields, or just wait?
Well, so you could use your number 3 waiver claim now on Trevor Lawrence? I mean, yes, I think you should, because it's the number 3 claim. It's not the number 1 claim. And if Love is out, worst case the season, or even 6-8 weeks, you don't really want to be rolling with Justin Fields. Plus, we don't even know. Like, when Russ is healthy, we got to assume that's it. He's back in as a starter. Justin Fields back to the bench. So,
Right.
like, Mayfield is fine. Rodgers, nah. Levis, nah. Knicks, nah. Yeah, just go ahead and get Lawrence now.
I would do that because here's the thing too, is we'll talk about this in the waiver wire video when it comes out on Monday. Most of the guys who are looking like the top waiver pickups after week 1 would not have been worth a number 3 waiver claim because they will wind up being busts. You know, just how it is in week 1. To get the QB, even if Fields does have a really good game, he could still be the backup after Russ is fine in week 2 or week 3. So, nah, just get Lawrence now. All right. Before we keep catching up with the super chats, this is a good time since we're not quite halfway through. Reminder, because Underdog does have still some specials going on. I want to make sure that everyone who wasn't here at the very top of the show knows this, because I mean, you've probably heard of Underdog, but maybe you haven't tried Underdog. There's a reason why we choose to partner exclusively with Underdog. If you didn't notice, that's the site we use and nobody else. Underdog is great. It's fun, and you have a lot of chances to win money. They are practically begging you to win because you get this free pick. If you sign up for Underdog right now, you get this free pick. That's right. It's Dak Prescott getting 1 yard. Just one. Go higher on 0.5 passing yards. You get that free pick, combine it with any other pick. And if you watch our videos, which you probably have, on the start sit, we give you some of our favorite picks at every position. And of course, there's a lot of others we talk about on the live shows, in the Discord, everywhere else. So if you sign up using code ENDGAME, that gets you the free pick plus whatever other promotional offers they have. And again, it's like every day there's something else new. And of course, you still get that 50% deposit match up to $1,000. The very first time you sign up and deposit with Underdog, they're matching your deposit with bonus cash that you can use. So you're basically playing with some free money just out of the gate. So check all that out right now if you haven't already for some reason. Okay, let's get to Thomas. Would you consider Yosevich over Ridley?
No, and I'm not even that high on Ridley this week, but I definitely prefer Ridley over Yosevich.
Yeah, I'm fine with Ridley in this case. Again, it could be a trap. Look, maybe he does have a solid game, but is his upside really better than Ridley? So I understand the consideration, but no, I wouldn't do it. Dale. Ford, Pollard, Amari, McLaurin. We need a running back and a flex. So Ford or Pollard?
I'm going Ford. I just feel better about his touches. I feel better about, I think he could catch just as many passes as Pollard. I'm going Ford here. And then I think I got, oh man, do you want to have both Browns? But I think I do have to go Amari in the flex. I'm not scared of this Cowboys secondary. Bland out. Diggs, I'm pretty sure, is still out, or if he's not, I mean, he's recovering from ACL. Like, not worried about this Cowboys secondary this week for Amari. So I'm going the 2 Browns, Ford and Amari.
Yeah, Ford for sure. It's close between Terry and Amari. If you don't want to go all Cleveland, which again, if that was the case, you probably wouldn't have drafted both of these guys. But yeah, I like Amari this week. I mean, I like them both, but I'll give the slight edge to Amari as well. Frosif, we know Frosif. Just re-upped as well for the membership. Thank you. What about Jacob Lacasse? 2 flex spots, 12-man PPR. Yoshi, Palmer, Zach Moss, Zamir White, JMO, or Jamar Chase.
Okay, well, when we're talking about this group here, if Chase plays, he's in my lineup. So if Chase plays, I'm going Chase and Zamir. If Chase is out, like just completely out, like he's like, nope, I'm not playing. You haven't paid me yet. I'm not playing. I'm going Zamir and it's close between Moss and
oh, come on. Against the Rams. I mean, I like Moss.
I mean, you're hoping for one big play from Jameson Williams, I think.
That was the old Jameson Williams. That was last year.
Okay. I don't know. He's not in my trust circle just yet. I might go Zamir and Moss, or maybe Zamir and Palmer. It's PPR. I guess if you want to gamble on Jamison Williams, but I'm not quite there yet with Jamison Williams.
I mean, I guess we maybe could see it first, but I mean, same thing. I'll lock Zamir in there. Chase, if you feel like he's actually going to play and wants to play, and if not, I might just lock Moss in because I do think he's going to catch some passes. Right, he's going to be involved in the passing game. If Chase again is out, they're going to need him. Okay, there's Rozelle's question. 10-team PPR. Punted tight end, not a bad strategy. So got Kyler, Sungod, JJ Evans, Pittman, Worthy, Achane, Walker, Najee, Singletary, Pollard, and Goddard. Now I can get behind
Goddard. Goddard wasn't bad last night. He was decently involved. I think he's going to be fine. I think Goddard will be fine for a punted tight end. I mean, you got Sungod, JJ Evans, Pittman, Worthy. You're great there. You got Achane, Walker, Najee, Singletary, Pollard, fine behind him, but you got two really strong running backs. You got Kyler. This is a very good team. I think 8.75, but this could push for 9+ if Goddard is truly back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you even need a tight end with this team. Honestly, this is a stacked receiver room, and Achane and Walker. I mean, if those guys have the kind of seasons we think they might, this is like a. Right now, honestly, my reaction is like a 9.25, even in a 10-teamer, because I'm high on all those players. We'll see. All right, Spice. This is a 14-teamer. Kyler and Goff, Achane, Connor, Singletary, Chubb, Ray Davis, Jefferson, Evans, Collins, Palmer, JMO, Kincaid, Schultz.
I mean, I gotta say, for going Kyler and Kincaid, to still have Achane and Connor is pretty good at running back for a 14-teamer. Now, obviously, behind those guys, not a lot. I mean, Singletary will probably be fine for as long as he's on the field, and I don't know about Chubb. But then you still got Jefferson, Evans, and Nico in a 14-teamer with Palmer and Jamison on the bench. I mean, this is really good for a 14-team league, honestly. Has a 9.25. Well done. Maybe even a 9.5, honestly. I mean, for a 14-team league to get a stud QB, a stud tight end, still get two really good running backs and three really good wide receivers, maybe even a 9.5, honestly.
Agree, because I got Kincaid, super high on him, high on Kyler. If Achane winds up being even just a top 10 running back in fantasy, yeah, this could be a league winner. This is like a 9.5. All right, before we get to the next super chat, Young Money has entered the chat.
Up?
What's up, Money? So it's also a Burrow question. Superflex got Burrow, Bryce, and Derek Carr was able to snag Fields. So who you going with?
I'm going Burrow and Fields. Honestly. Give me that right. Like Bryce and Carr, like, okay, they're fine. And look, maybe Bryce will eventually be a guy we can trust this year. I think the potential is there, but again, he's not in my circle of trust just yet. We know how I feel about Derek Carr. Just give me Burrow and Fields.
Yeah, even if Chase is out, as nervous as I would be, like I would put Burrow below those guys. So go Burrow, go Fields. Exactly. That game, New Orleans, Carolina, probably not going to be super high scoring. So, yeah. Danny D. Oh, good luck, Young Money, unless you're playing me in one of those leagues, which you might be. I haven't checked my matchups yet. You might be playing one of us. Full PPR needs either Keenan, JMO, Pop, or Warren.
Oh my goodness. All right.
No, someone's gonna have to break through your circle of trust because I know you're down on Keenan. I know you're not ready for JMO. Pop is, I mean, really, would you put him over those guys?
No. Honestly, I will say if Keenan plays, I will actually go Keenan here. If Keenan is out, then I will just hope for a big play from Jameson. I mean, Jaylen Warren, you're hoping like he falls into the end zone. Pop Douglas, you're hoping. I don't even know what you're hoping for with Pop Douglas. Yeah. Keenan, if he's out, give me Jameson.
In this case, because he is questionable, I would take a chance on my guy Jameson Williams, see if he shows out, because this should be a high scoring game going against the Rams. I'll take a chance on that big play. Take a chance that he's really more involved. Yeah, I would go Williams. That's just me. I'm okay if you go Keenan, if you want to trust him. If he's good to go. I guess if he's cleared before the game, then you don't worry about it. But I don't know. I'm already worried about it. Frosif, here's a question. Ford or Javonte?
Again, gonna go Ford slightly over Javonte. I feel much better about the offense, much better about the offensive line. I think they're both gonna catch enough passes here. Give me Ford.
Yep, still going forward. Not too crazy about Denver's road matchup against Seattle. We'll see how that Denver offense looks, but go forward. All right, PD Tabil. Full PPR. Did start Henry. Okay, that was a good choice. Needs running back in a flex between Cook, Kamara, CMC. I think we can lock CMC in there.
Yeah, I think you can definitely lock CMC in at running back. Oh, man. I mean, I think Kamara's in a good spot this week, but I think James Cook also in a really good spot. And I just like James Cook's potential better. I mean, Alvin Kamara, that offensive line is going to not be good. His efficiency hasn't been good for years. Yeah, he may catch more passes than James Cook, but James Cook probably has a better chance to score and will probably get significantly more yardage. So I'm going to go, I mean, you got it at CMC for sure. And then I'm going to go James Cook at the flex.
Yeah, going to go Cook. Nothing scaring me off him this week. CMC, I know there's concern because he had been listed with something, calf / Achilles, right? And that always raises a flag, but he's good to go. I mean, he's not going to miss. So you got to start him. So yeah, go Cook at the flex. Will Davies with another one. The defense question, have the Jets playing San Francisco. Would you drop what should be a really good defense to stream, drop a bench player to get another defense, or just let the Jets fly? So I guess the question is, would you drop any of those players to hold on to a defense?
No, I would just let the Jets fly. I think they're a good enough. I mean, I know Hassan Reddick's not playing. That does hurt like their sack potential a little bit, but they're still an elite defense. I mean, we saw this week. I mean, I don't really look at defenses, but I think the defenses so far have been okay. And they were going against, I mean, okay, maybe not. Maybe they weren't okay. They were going against great offenses. 4 points, 3 points, 0 points. Chiefs got you -2? Really? The Chiefs got you -2? Wow. Yeah, I'd probably just let the Jets fly because look, if they only get you 3 or 4 points, it's defense. Like, it's not gonna make or break you unless they get like a pick six. Or they get just absolutely lit up, which they probably won't.
Well, I mean, yeah, on the road against San Francisco, definitely not a great matchup, but even good offenses can throw interceptions. Brock Purdy is not a quarterback that, to me, is like, oh, well, you're done now. He's going to light you up. I mean, yeah, he's good, but they can still turn the ball over. He'll still get sacked sometimes. So just go with the Jets. It'll be fine. But you can stream defense all season. Of course, this depends on how many defenses your league stashes. There are some leagues where people everyone has to have 2 defenses. Okay, well, if that's the case, if your only option there is going to be like the Giants and the worst defenses, you can't really stream effectively. But just go with the Jets; you'll be fine. All right, Cali Kid needs 1 at RB2 in full PPR. Harris, Edwards, Mostert, Javonte.
Just one RB2 here. Again, I'm just going to keep saying Mostert. I know it's PPR, which, could help Javonte a little bit. And I do like Gus this week, but Mostert's in that Dolphins offense. Why can't he score a touchdown or 2? Give me Mostert.
This one is a little closer. I like Gus. I also like Mostert. It's a toss-up for me between those two. I mean, it is kind of close between all of these guys, but I guess I'm going to give a slight edge to Mostert for the upside. I do like Gus though, so I feel like he's a little bit more of a. Although I guess I can't see he's a sure thing because now they're talking up J.K. Dobbins. I'm not buying into that. We'll go Mostert, but Gus is also a solid option. All right, and then Rel dropped a super chat. Look for the question there. Here it is. Pollard or Hopkins?
Give me Pollard. I'm not trusting D-Hop coming off a knee injury, 32 years old. Nah, no thank you. Just give me Pollard. Give me Pollard.
Yeah, and I mean, even before this whole thing, like, yeah, I've had this injury, I never got fixed. Like, okay, thanks for letting us know. He's questionable and not a good matchup. Just go Pollard. Yeah. Gaming Wolf, this is 10-man PPR. Rate this squad. Right. Got Kyler, Achane, Walker, Tyreek, AJ Brown, Pittman, McBride, Godwin, Steelers, and then the bench.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is more what I feel like these 8 and 10 team. Like, just don't even worry about depth or your bench. Just get a stacked starting lineup. The bench is the bench. I mean, you got Achane and Kenneth Walker. That's great. You got Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, and Godwin. That's great. You got Kyler, the McBride. A lot of Kyler McBride stacks this year. That's really good. I mean, bench, okay, Chase Brown, Gus Bus, Chuba, Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer. I'd like maybe one more high-end wide receiver on the bench, but still, it's very good here. I'm gonna say 9.
I like every single one of these players a lot. This is almost like my dream draft. Honestly, I know it's a 10-teamer, not a 12, but I would love this team. So, again, those two running backs, they both wind up hitting their ceiling that I think they could hit. This is probably a league winner. So maybe I'm too high, but I'll go 9-5. I love this team. All right. Charles Simone, welcome back. All right. At the flex, Debo, Javonte, JSN, or London. Full PPR.
This is close between Debo and London. I'm not worried about Debo this week against the Jets because Ayuk's going to get the sauce treatment and they're going to use Debo different ways and get him the ball different ways. I really like London this week too. I might just go Debo though, and just be like kind of like let me see London first, since I don't feel like I like, even though I do like London, and in most cases I would say London. Maybe because you have Debo, who I also really really like, I'll just go with Debo, and then if London gets like 10 targets and is the clear number one, and like as we expect, and Kirk looks great, fine. London locked in my lineup rest of the season, no questions asked. But this week I might just go Debo.
Yeah, for these choices, to me, it's either Debo, London. That's it. Yeah, I like Debo. I actually don't honestly remember because it's been a while. I think I put Debo on as a boom, didn't I, for receivers?
Yes.
Trent Williams back. Okay, good. No worry there. Brandon Ayuk is there, but is Brandon Ayuk fully game ready? And he's going to be the outside guy, gets locked up. So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you can, go back and watch all the reasons I'm in on Debo this week. So I'll go Debo too. Rodney Woods. PPR already had Saquon and Henry. That's a good feeling. So pick one, Tua or Goff.
I think I got to go Goff this week at home against the Lions. Against the Rams. I like Tua, but Goff is a monster at home. Rams defense doesn't scare me at all. Give me Goff.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close. You're good with either one, but I do agree Goff probably has more upside. And then pick 3, Odunze. I'm going to probably just say no to Higgins. Gus, Monty, or is that Juwan Johnson?
Juwan Johnson. That's our first Juwan Johnson question of the season. I'm not starting Higgins, even if they say he's playing. No, thank you. No. Gus and Monty for sure, and then I'm not banking on a tight end. Just give me the rookie Odunze. So Odunze, Gus, and Monty.
Yeah. Like Johnson as a tight end, maybe as a flex. Nah. So Odunze, Edwards, Monty, and Goff. And you know what? Hopefully it doesn't even matter because you already had Saquon. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
for real. For real.
Joker, would you trade away Andrews for Keaton Mitchell?
Definitely not. I mean, Keaton Mitchell's on IR right now, coming back from ACL. No way. No chance.
So I probably wouldn't trade anybody for Keaton Mitchell right now, but
No.
I also am not trading away Andrews at his lowest value.
Yeah,
He will be
don't
fine.
panic trade Andrews.
He will be fine. Most likely. We'll be fine. All right. Sorry, let's get to, well, this is related question. Ryan asking how you get the membership.
I think it should be down below. There should be a button. I don't know how YouTube does it, or else underneath the videos there should be an option.
Yeah, kind of hard to say because we're on the other side of it. Like,
Right.
you know. So I honestly don't know how that works. I'm sure there's a way, or somebody in the chat can probably explain it. Okay. We got Abimanu. Again, PPR. Bucks or Seahawks?
Ooh.
Both good choices.
Both good choices, but I'm going to go slightly Seahawks at home against Bo Nix, because at least like Jaden Daniels, we know he can throw the deep ball, and that Buck secondary can be taken advantage of, and we know he can run. I'm not really worried about Bo Nix lighting up the Seahawks at all. I think he'll probably take some sacks. He'll probably turn the ball. I'm going to go Seahawks.
Both smart choices, of course, going against rookie quarterbacks. Yeah, I feel better, or I guess I should say I am less worried about Bo Nix than Jaden Daniels. I think that go Seahawks there. And then thoughts on Derrick Henry. We were already giving our thoughts, but zero concern, a little concern, or zero concern?
I mean, I'm not going to say zero concern because that's probably too extreme, but like a 1 on the panic meter. I mean, look, it was a game where Lamar Jackson dropped back 57 times. That's probably not going to, I can almost guarantee that's not going to happen the rest of the season. That'll ever happen. Derrick Henry's going to be fine. Yeah, he's going to be fine.
Yeah,
I guess I got to put I wasn't going to put Derrick Henry on the panic video, but I guess I got to put him on the panic video.
I mean, somebody's going to panic about him who scored. I'm pretty much zero concern here. Don't worry about him. All right, and then DC, hey, 12-man full PPR, 2 flex. Currently got Kirk and Addison. The other options are Javonte, Ladd, Dortch, and Dowdle. You keep it locked in. Addison, I don't know.
Yeah, he's playing. He's in, but I don't know how good I feel about Addison. I mean, I think in this case I will go Javonte. I feel, again, it's PPR. He'll catch passes. He could fall in the end zone. He'll get carries. I'd probably go Javonte over Addison. Kirk and Javonte for me.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on Addison. Guy kind of was, I guess, quietly out on this offseason. Didn't talk about him being a bust or, really vocal about not wanting him, but I didn't draft him anywhere. I never really advocated for him. So you could take a chance. I don't know about Ladd. I don't think I would take a chance on him yet. I don't think I feel better about him than Addison, but I'm okay with Javonte there. Would possibly say Rico if I like the matchup better, but nah. All right, what about D? Gonna bench Burrow and start Caleb Williams. Could you do that?
I don't think so. I mean, unless Chase is completely out. We were talking about a rookie making his first ever start. And look, the Titans, they did bolster that secondary to a degree. I don't think they're going to be like the worst pass defense again, like they were last year, or one of the worst pass defenses. I mean, if Chase is like, I'm not playing, okay, maybe I could go Caleb over Chase, but that's it.
I mean, if Chase completely is out, I think I would just take a chance on Caleb. I would do that. If Chase is playing and everything's fine and hunky-dory, okay, then I'll just stick with Burrow. Highly considering trading Jaden Reed for an upgrade at RB2. Would you do that at all, or does it depend on the running back?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. It's gonna depend on the running back. Like I said, if you can trade him and get a very good running back in return, like I don't know what you're considering a running back to. But yeah, if you can get a very good running back in return, I would definitely do it. But I wouldn't trade him just to get like, say, Raheem Mostert or Javonte Williams or guys like that.
Yeah, it's too early to panic trade because again,
Yeah.
we don't know exactly Jordan Love. We don't know what his diagnosis is. So I wouldn't trade him just for the sake of trading him. So only if it's clearly an upgrade. All right, and then Jimmy, the Puss in Boots, I think it is. Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I'm going Jaden Daniels here again. I'm not as scared of the matchup against the Bucks. That secondary, he's got that rushing upside. I know Caleb can run a little bit, but not the way Jaden Daniels can. So if I had to choose between the two, I'm going Daniels.
Yeah, I'll go Daniels too. That rushing upside, of course, big play upside. I think it is close though. And I did say in general, I know a lot of people are really buying all into JD, and I think he's fine, but risky because of that offensive context. Rest of the season, you ask me right now, I prefer Caleb Williams, but week one, I'll take a chance on JD's upside. All right, we got Team Madoich, OTK. Is that Madolce? All right. Spears or Ramondre?
I'm going to go Ramondre here. He'll be the guy in New England for whatever that's worth. He'll catch passes. Maybe he could fall into the end zone. I'm not betting on it, but you never know. Spears, yeah, he's going to probably need like a big run or big pass or something to even be startable. So give me Ramondre.
Yeah, I'd go Ramondre too. Spears. I mean, Ramondre should get, I think, several more touches than Spears. And going to give you a floor. Full PPR, go Ramondre. J-Love, best love. All right, it's going to need some love after yesterday. 12-team PPR, looking for a flex. So you got Josh Allen, Henry, Rashad White, Hill, Debo, Ferguson. Have available Godwin, Mostert, Ford, and Myers. And coulda, shoulda played Jaden Reed too late now. So who makes up for it out of these guys?
Yeah, but you're not. God, I still would have flexed Godwin. In PPR, Godwin. I mean, you can't kick yourself for Jaden Reed. Like, again, he had a long touchdown run and a blown coverage, long reception. Like, it happens. But Godwin should be fine. You still have Tyreek. You still have Debo. Yeah, going Godwin.
Yep, full PPR, go Godwin. 70-yard touchdowns happen, right? It happens. You can't predict it. So it's okay. Godwin could feast too. Then we got still one of the best albums out there, Around the Fur. 10-team PPR. Superflex. Would you trade T-Law, Walker, and Godwin to the Love owner? I like where this is going. For St. Brown and Warren, that's not enough.
No, that's a huge overpay just to get Sun God in Superflex. I mean, I know you say, hey, look, I have Anthony Richardson and Goff. But if you don't have Anthony Richardson or Goff, like the Jordan Love owner might not have Jordan Love, then what do you have at quarterback? You have Anthony Richardson or Goff. You know what I mean? So you're giving away a high-end QB who is startable pretty much every single week if something happens to Richardson and or Goff, plus a high-end running back, plus a high-end wide receiver just to get St. Brown. Nah, it's an overpay.
I mean, I thought I liked where it was going. I like the thought process, but you're giving up too much to not get enough back because to go from Walker to Warren, huge drop-off. Super flex, a quarterback like T-Law should get you more back. So if you got something else instead of Warren, something better, maybe, or if you take out one of those players, like take out Walker, okay, fine. But I mean, do you think T-Law and Godwin just for St. Brown?
I still think that I'm pretty sure in Superflex, I mean, maybe not. Maybe St. Brown was drafted ahead of Trevor Lawrence in Superflex, but it's very close in Superflex. Like, this is not going to be Like one QB, you think, oh, Trevor Lawrence, St. Brown, that's a joke. But in Superflex, I mean, St. Brown probably a late first, early second. T-Law probably a mid second, early second. This is Superflex. I don't even think you should. I mean, look, maybe he won't give you St. Brown for T-Law, but I don't even like. I'm not giving up T-Law and Godwin or T-Law and Kenneth Walker to get St. Brown in Superflex because again, you sit here right now and you think I'm good at quarterback. I got Richardson. I got Goff. I'm good at quarterback. Well, you know what? The team with Jordan Love probably thought they were good at quarterback too. It's football. Guys get hurt. Like that quarterback is extremely valuable.
Actually, now that I read over, he's saying I have this. That's exactly what I was thinking of. I'm looking. You have AR, and it's funny. Somebody earlier in the chat didn't put up saying, "Okay, which I just want to know which week Richardson's going to get hurt so I can plan ahead." It's like, okay, we don't put it on him, but what happens if Richardson gets hurt and then you traded T-Law and then you have Goff and who's your second quarterback? So I probably wouldn't even trade him away at this point.
Right.
All right. Superfish, Chase or Ford? Chase Brown, I should say.
Ford. I could see Chase Brown getting more usage this week, but I still don't think he's going to get like Ford's going to be the workhorse. Give me Ford.
And I don't know if this is different league or I guess the same question. Moss or Ford? Probably still Ford.
Still Ford, but I will say if you don't want to be all like if it is a different league and you don't want to be just all in on Ford, and then if like Ford gets hurt or busts or something, like he kills both your teams, I think Moss is fine. But in a vacuum, I would take Ford over Moss as well.
Agree. Go with Ford and should be good. And then we have Shellback Toy Rewind. All right. Sounds like a fun store or something. Bench, Ayuk, Bowers, B-Rob, Singletary, Stevenson, Brian Thomas Jr. Would you drop any of those for either Mason, Dowdle, Corum?
Nah, you can't drop any of those guys.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, obviously not Ayuk. Bowers, I mean, obviously he's your backup tight end, but I don't think I'm dropping a potentially big game-changing tight end for a backup running back. No, I don't think any of these guys should be dropped.
Right.
All right, J876. Here's a fun one. Pittman, Dell, or McLaurin?
I think I got to go Pittman here. I like all these guys, but Pittman is the clear number one. No Josh Downs. I mean, A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, how much are they really going to be involved? I think you got to go Pittman.
We did talk about Terry being a potential boom, having upside, but also having risk, right? I mean, yes, he'll get a ton of targets, but doesn't mean he'll have a ton of yards. Dell is really the kind of the unknown here. Don't know. He could have a big game. He could have a mediocre game. Let's go with a sure thing. That's Pittman. Now, this is a valid question, which kind of brings a tear to my eye because no, it wasn't Isaiah Likely. I had a ton of in underdog drafts. It was Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave.
Oh, yeah.
Was on the field less than Tucker Kraft. Would you drop Musgrave to get Likely?
Yeah, you can. Musgrave's a drop. Musgrave is definitely a drop.
Yeah, that one actually stings me because I don't know why Luke Musgrave wasn't out there. I really don't know, but you can drop. All right, what about one shot Jay? Rate my team: Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Taylor, Evans, Adams, probably Jaden Reed, Ramondre.
Remember Jordan Reed, tight end? He was good.
Yeah, he was like the Christian Watson of tight ends. He was never healthy.
True.
8-man team.
Okay, 8-man. Henry JT is great. Evans, Adams, Reed. It's okay for an 8-man. I know you're feeling great about Jaden Reed today, but again, he's not going to do that every week. Mahomes, Kincaid is great. Does it say PPR? If it's non-PPR, I really like this team because your running backs are pretty stacked. If it's PPR, I think it's the wide receivers are okay for an 8-teamer. I mean, they're certainly not bad, but they're not elite. So I'm going to assume PPR. I'm going to give it an 8.25.
I mean, it's 8 teams, but you have elite quarterback, tight end, running backs, which is important. Evans, Adams. So that's a good 8. Say 8, just because of Adams. We'll see. Which, by the way, completely random, but I was curious. Shellback Toy Rewind. Give a shout out to fellow YouTubers. Looks like they have their own channel. It's about, not surprisingly, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you're into that,
nice.
Check them out. All right. DMO 305. Start Mostert, Pollard, Chase Brown.
Again, I might be too in on Mostert this week. Yeah, I'm just going to chase that touchdown upside with Mostert. I don't think none of these guys feel like, ooh, I have to start them. So give me Mostert. Let's chase that touchdown upside.
Yeah, I think it has to be Mostert here. With Chase Brown, you're hoping for a big play, maybe. Well, Mostert has just as good a chance to make a big play, if not better, because he's in that offense. So, yeah, I think it's Mostert still. Brian is just stopping by to say hi.
What's up, Brian?
All right. John S. did drop a super chat. Let's see where the question is, which, by the way, just a reminder, if you did super chat, we will definitely answer your question. We'll be on until we get caught up on them. We're still catching up. If you super chat in the last half hour, hang tight. We're going to get there. We're just trying to get them in order that they came in. Oh, here we go. John has dropped a separate super chat. 2 flex, half PPR, Cooper, Gus, Brian Thomas, or D-Hop.
I'm going Cooper and Gus, even in PPR. Again, I'm not starting. I mean, D-Hop, nah. Brian Thomas, interesting, but first start ever. Let me see what he does, how he looks, how he's used. Because even though like Xavier Worthy had a nice game, you look at it, he only had a 10% target share. He just happened to have that jet sweep for a touchdown, and then that long touchdown where again the Ravens just decided they're just not going to cover Xavier Worthy on this play. Like, we're just not going to cover him. We're just going to leave him wide open for a touchdown. So don't want to risk it if I don't have to. I like Cooper and Gus enough. Let's go Cooper and Gus.
Let's go Cooper and Gus as well. Half PPR. That makes it more palatable that you're flexing a running back instead of a receiver. Sure, Brian Thomas could make a big play, could get a touchdown. I feel better about Gus getting the opportunities. Again, I'm big on Gus this week. So Gus and Cooper. And then Durf Boy 22. 10-team full PPR. Got Daniels, Bijan, Kyron, Cup, Debo, Kincaid, Walker, Corum, Dowdle, Zeke. Hopkins, Monty, Mostert, Goff. Okay, so in a 10-teamer, with JD as the starter, I guess, would you drop Goff for Fields?
No. I definitely prefer Goff for the rest of the season. I mean, again, Fields is probably only going to be the starter until whenever Russell Wilson is healthy. And look, we've seen Fields as a starter. Yes, he can have those games where he runs crazy and you're loving it, or he can have those games where he throws like 2 interceptions and you wish you never put him in your lineup. Goff should be great most of the year. And you got JD5. So no, keeping Goff. Trade ideas. I mean, maybe try to trade Hopkins if he's got Hopkins and Zeke if they have some value. But what are you really getting back for Hopkins?
Trade Zeke just to get him off your team.
Like, what are you getting back for Hopkins and Zeke? I mean, honestly, what do you get? Like,
yeah.
I
mean, your starting lineup is good. You don't really need to make any trades here, unless you can get something for Zeke while people still think he has value. All right. Benny Black just stopping in to say, what is up? Appreciate
What's up,
you,
Benny?
Always. Zachary Shands, with Higgins out, start 2. Moss, Ford, Mostert, Odunze.
A lot of Mostert questions. I'm going Mostert and Ford. Again, I'm chasing that touchdown upside, and I like Ford this week a lot. So give me Mostert and Ford. I like Odunze, but again, these rookie wide receivers, like let's keep them on the bench week 1 if possible.
Right. Exactly. Ford and Mostert, been saying them. Solid picks. All right, big time Brent. Half PPR, just one. Ramondre, Chuba, or Javante. Keith would appreciate that you put in the matchups there.
Yes. It's between Ramondre and Javante. Let's give Ramondre the slightest of edges over Javante, and I don't really have I can't give you like a big time reason why. I think it's going to be very close between those guys for me. I don't know. At least Ramondre, I feel better. Maybe the game script will, I don't think the Bengals will blow him out, especially without Higgins and potentially with a limited chase. So I'll go Ramondre, but it's very close. Very close here.
Yeah, not ideal matchups for any of them, but I feel the best about Ramondre's matchup. I feel the best about his volume. I'm going Ramondre. What about Joe V? Waddle or London?
Again, I feel good enough about Waddle this week. I do like London, and I'm starting London in most instances where I have London. But I think if I have Waddle, I'll just go ahead and put Waddle in. Let's see how this Falcons offense looks in week 1. I feel good enough about Waddle and his upside. Just go with Waddle.
Yeah, this is really close. I mean, you want to start both ideally. This must be a pretty shallow league if you're flexing one and benching the other. This got to be an 8-man league. I like Waddle in this matchup. Let's go Waddle. Jamal Abdel Bassett. It's that same question. Trade Jaden Reed.
All right. First of all, we don't know how long Jordan Love is out for yet. So don't go crazy and trade Jaden Reed now, and then we find out, oh, he's only going to miss a game or two. But second of all, if somebody's all in on Jaden Reed after last night, or maybe they were all in on Jaden Reed before last night, and now they're really all in on Jaden Reed, and they're willing to give you somebody really, really good, yeah, take it. Of course, you should always do that. But also, third thing is everybody knows Jordan Love is hurt. So even if they were all in on Jaden Reed before the season, they may be worried right now.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know that you should really value Jaden Reed more or less than you did before week 1 because of all the various factors. So I wouldn't trade just for the sake of trading him. I mean, you really shouldn't have any holes in your roster or anything that you need to upgrade, and just hold tight. Again, it doesn't seem, and I want to say this without really knowing, doesn't seem like this is a season-ending injury for Jordan Love, but I wouldn't panic just yet. All right, Will Davies, another one. Grade this one: Lamar, Sun God, Wilson, London, McLaurin, Deontay, Wandale, Kenneth Walker, Spears, Corum, Benson, Dowdle, Lloyd, Brooks.
All right, doesn't say how many teams it is. You got Sun God, Garrett Wilson. I'm going to assume at least a 10-teamer. I mean, you got Sun God, Garrett Wilson, London. Probably a 10-teamer. All right, Sun God, Wilson, London, Terry, Deontay Johnson, and then Wandale, because why not? Stacked at wide receiver. Kenneth Walker, Spears, Corum, Benson, Dowdle, Lloyd, Brooks. Not as stacked at running back. Hero RB with Kenneth Walker. Very risky. Although I do like Kenneth Walker, but still very risky. You got Lamar. That's great. I don't see a tight end unless I'm missing him. So I'm going to grade this as a 10-teamer because that's what it feels like. Running backs for a 10-teamer. So. Wide receivers great. QB great. If it is a 10-teamer, I'm going to just say an 8. If it is somehow a 12-teamer, maybe like an 8.5.
This is clearly a hero RB build. And again, I like Walker, but man, you went all in with the risk here at running back. Like one of those guys does need to hit, which look, Benson could, Brooks could in the second half, Corum could if Kyron something happens to him. Dowdle, Spears, you could mix and match, but that does limit your upside RB2. So this could wind up being a monster team, or it could not. So it's still very good. If it's a 12-teamer, I'll give it an 8.5. If it is a 10-teamer, it's more like an 8, with potential for more, though. Now, Jordan Olson wants to know if Etienne will be a top 10 back.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Etienne is not a top 10 back this year. Will he be a top 5 back again or top 3 back again? I don't think so, but top 10, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Top 10, but not top 5. But he should be pretty much a set and forget. Kamara, not top 10.
Not top 10. If it's PPR, maybe top 15. If it's half or non-PPR, maybe, well, non-PPR, I don't even know if it'll be top 20, to be honest. Half PPR, maybe top 20.
I do think he's going to be a back that's somewhat game script dependent as well. Just don't feel great about the whole Saints team, to be honest, but still has value. Senor Rojo, bench is at the top of the chat. I really hope it's not like at the very, very top. I have to go back. But let's look at this lineup. Mahomes, Ford, Bijan, Kupp, Dell, Kittle, Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy. Thankfully, no kickers defense. So what do you think of this team?
All right, again, doesn't say how many players or if it's PPR or not. But so it looks like you went Bijan, Kupp. I'm going to hope 12-teamer. Oh, what happened?
Sorry. My bad. I was trying to go back and find it, and I did the wrong thing.
All right. I'm going to hope. Did you go Bijan Kupp here? Bijan Mahomes? All right. Bijan, Ford are your running backs. Kupp, Dell, Keon Coleman, Worthy. I mean, you're feeling good about Worthy now if you started him, so that's good, but it's only week 1. Long way to go still. Mahomes, Kittle. Okay, you don't use kickers defense. That's good. I like that. I'm gonna hope it's a 12-team or deeper. But even then, I can't say I'm super excited about it.
Well,
7.5.
Yeah, it's not really in on Keon Coleman, as you know. Risky. He got some upside. Now, he wasn't lying. His question was at literally at the very top of the chat. So I went all the way back. This was 2.5 hours ago. So his question is thoughts or moves for his bench. Here's the bench. Took handcuffs with Benson, Braylon, Corum, Chase Brown, Jordan Mason. Got all the handcuffs. And then went with Commanders.
It is 12-team PPR. Yeah, just not. It's fine. It's good. It's not like it's horrible. It's not like your team's awful. But I think this team is going to need a lot of work throughout the season, or it's going to need to really get lucky with some of these rookies in handcuffs, which could happen. So again, I'm going to say 7.5 right now.
Yeah. So the question is, would you do anything with this bench? I mean, I understand getting the backups and the handcuffs. I don't think you don't want your entire bench to be all rookies or handcuffs, because you're going to wind up dropping some of these guys anyways. So you think, oh, well, it's fine. I'll just drop them if I need to. It's just unnecessarily extra risky. In a 12-teamer, I don't think we need to stash a tight end like Sinnott yet. McCaffrey, who knows? So, I mean, I don't know. I would just say, let's wait. You might as well wait until after week 1 happens and then try to pick up anybody who stands out as a waiver wire ad. So don't do anything just yet. All right. Will Davies, promise this is the last one. This is a 10-team and a standard league. Kyler, CMC, Kyron, Achane, Spears, Metcalf, Waddle, McLaurin, Deontay, Godwin, McBride, Ingram, Tucker, and the Jets.
Tucker already missing a kick for everybody who drafted him in like round 6 of their fantasy drafts.
He's toast.
CMC Kyron Achan is great at running back. That's what you want in a non-PPR league. You want stud running backs. Metcalf, Waddle, McLaurin, Deontay, and Godwin, not my favorite non-PPR wide receivers, but they're fine. But like Metcalf, I definitely like him a lot more in non-PPR. Waddle has a touchdown upside. McLaurin should score some touchdowns. So that's good. You got a stud tight end, and you got the Kyler McBride. I mean, seriously, like half the teams I think we've seen so far have that Kyler McBride stack. And you also have Ingram. Which is interesting. Yeah, for a non-PPR team, this is great because your running backs are strong, your wide receivers are okay, but they have touchdown upside, which is really all you can ask for at wide receiver in a non-PPR league. So I'm gonna say 8.75.
Right, and standard. You got running backs that, on the one hand, like they're going to catch a lot of passes. That doesn't help you, but they're going to get that extra boost in yardage, and you have huge upside. I mean, those 3 running backs in standard is great. Metcalf, Waddle, McLaurin, those are, I think, the right types of receivers. Yeah, I mean, this should be a very stacked team. I'll give it a 9. All right, Jules Henley. This is half PPR. Who to flex? Keenan, Eckler, McConkey, Myers, or Zeke?
Well, I'll say if Keenan plays, I'll flex Keenan. I don't think I can start any of these guys over Keenan, but if Keenan is out, I'll probably go. I think I'll go Jacoby Myers. Just hope for the best. Just not expect like half PPR Eckler. Man, without a touchdown, what are we getting? McConkey. Let's see. Zeke. I'm not doing Zeke. So Keenan or Myers if Keenan is out.
Yeah, it's either Keenan or Jacoby Myers, one of those two. So we'll see what the final word is on Keenan. If he's playing full go, no issues, I can go with him. If not, you can go Myers. Richard. Pick 2, Richard G. Godwin, Diggs, or Cup?
Godwin and Cup. Two of my booms. Diggs. Look, maybe Houston says, "Hey, let's prove to the world that going out and getting Diggs is a smart move," and they force this guy 15 targets, kind of like what we saw with Calvin Ridley last year. But if not, I don't know. I think Diggs will be okay, but not great. But I'm going to go Godwin Cup this week.
As am I. Didn't draft a lot of Diggs. Look, he very well could have a big week 1, but big on the other 2. Just go Cup and Godwin, and then pick one, Connor or Monty.
This one's close. I do like Monty a bit this week. Going against that Rams defense at home. Connor's probably safer though. He catches passes. Monty could score. I think if it's me, I'm going Connor because I like that pass catching, but it is really close here. It's really close here, honestly.
Yeah, both are solid. I'm going to go Connor because he's going to get just the vast majority. They pretty much came out and said, yeah, he's still a workhorse. Benson might mix in eventually, but with rookie running backs, it takes time. I don't think we see him very much. I think we're going to see lots of Connor. So that's the way to go. JW, 8-man. It's PPR. Got Mahomes. All right. London Evans. Brees and Achane. Kittle. Rashad White is at the flex. And there's a kicker. Got Walker on the bench. Ayuk on the bench. Kirk, Najee, Godwin, and T-Law. Any changes?
Nope. Oh, man. Walker White is close at the flex, but I think right now I'm still going to go White. He's got a great matchup against Commanders, and we know he's going to catch passes. Like we know it's PPR. We know he's going to get passing game work. So I'm sticking with London and Evans. I'm benching Ayuk this week. Sticking with Hall and Achane at running back, but I think I'm sticking with White over Walker, although I do like Walker. So I'm leaving it the way it is.
If it's me, I'm probably going to roll with Walker over White. I feel better about him in general, but also this week, I think Walker could have a big week. But it is close. I mean, White's still going to be pretty much the workhorse. I think everything I just said applies here too. Yes, Bucky Irving will eventually get involved. It's still week one. We're still going to see mostly Rashad White. So that could go either way. I mean, JW, that might be your call at the end of the day. You had White in there already, so you feel better about him. I'm fine with that. If it's my team, I would go Walker, but it's your team. Bill, PPR needs 3. Harrison, Neighbors, Olave, Moore.
All right, I know I keep saying like, hey, you drafted Neighbors, why aren't you rolling them out there? But I think if I have Harrison, Olave, and Moore, I can bench Neighbors. So I'm going to bench Neighbors here and go with the other 3.
Yep, exactly. Same thing. You know, maybe Neighbors just shows out week 1. That's a case where I kind of want to see. I want to see what that offense even looks like. So I'm definitely going to go with Olave and Moore, and then I'll go Harrison. All right, and then we got Master Zonk is back. Missed you too.
Welcome back.
Please rate this team. PPR, QB, RB, 3 receiver, and 2 flex. Scott Murray, Bijan, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Smith, Cooper, Kincaid, Puka, Achane. On the bench is Sutton, BTJ, Chase Brown, Dowd, and Chip.
It doesn't say how many. It's PPR, but it doesn't say how many teams it is. I mean, you went Bijan, Marvin Harrison, Devonta Smith. That could be a 12-teamer. Cooper, Kincaid, Kyler. Although no, Puka. Looks like you went Bijan, Puka, maybe it's a 10-teamer. Bijan, Marvin Harrison, and Puka, and Achane, and Devonta Smith. I'm gonna guess a 10-teamer. You got Kincaid. Yeah, this team is stacked. This is a 9. Even for a 10-teamer, this is a 9.
I'm noticing it looks like he just starts 1 running back, and his 1 running back is Bijan. It's
nice.
You can get. I mean, so Achane is the flex, is what I'm seeing. He's not even like a starting running back in this team. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine this is a 12-teamer. If it was, it would be like a 9-2-5, but this is a solid 9, assuming it's a 10-teamer. So, yeah, you got nothing to do here. Sit back and count your points. Nate Dogg, it's here to regulate. Full PPR. Start Ayuk, Palmer, Curtis Samuel, JSN. Can you bench Ayuk for any of those guys?
Okay, no, this is getting too deep. I can't bench Ayuk for these guys. I'll just roll with Ayuk.
The only one I might consider is JSN if I thought that I really don't feel good about Ayuk being out there the whole time. But we haven't heard anything about him being limited in terms of on the field or snaps or anything, right?
Right.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even at that point, JSN maybe will have a big game, but in this case, I would stick with Ayuk as well. All right. JW with another one. 8-man PPR. All right. Which, by the way, just a reminder, anybody out here, if you do want to lay out the full lineup or a team, or especially if it's a rate my team kind of thing, tell us how deep the league is, what format. That always helps. And even start to sit, if you can at least tell us PPR, non-PPR half. So this is Justin Jefferson, Amon St. Brown, and Jalen Waddle. All right. Jacobs and Rashad White. Tank, Kirk. Bench is Godwin, Herbert, Singletary, Addison, Moss. Start sit.
All right. Yeah, Jefferson, St. Brown, Waddle. That's definitely your wide receivers. Jacobs, Rashad White. I mean, you obviously already started Jacobs. He was fine. Dell at the flex. I probably put Godwin in over Dell at the flex. I just like him a little more this week, or a lot more, honestly. Dell or Kirk, though. I might go, actually, you know what? Let's just go Godwin over Kirk and leave Dell in there, Because it looks like you have two flexes, if I'm reading this right. Like you have a wide receiver tight end flex, or like I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
really know what that
it
means.
looks like a receiver tight end flex and then a receiver running back flex.
Yeah, so let's go Del Godwin at the flexes, but everything else looks good.
Agree. I mean, those three receivers, you're set. Running back, I mean, you already got Jacobs. No running back I would put in there. So I think that's it. I think you're pretty good. Just swap Godwin in for Kirk. And then Uzi London has a question. Start. Here we go. It's week 1. Are you putting Taysom Hill in there over Freiermuth?
Sorry, I'm muted. I don't think so. I know Taysom could score, but look, they just extended Freiermuth, so they feel pretty good about him. I'm gonna roll a Muth.
I mean, look, if nothing else, the lack of a clear number 2 receiver or number 3 or any receiver other than George Pickens should give you confidence that he's going to be involved. And I know he wasn't out there exclusively because they're rolling out, as you would expect with an Arthur Smith offense, a lot of 2 tight end sets. Darnell Washington is out there, but he's there to block. That's why he's out there, because he's like a massive human and he's good at blocking. Yes. Freiermuth should still get plenty of targets. Just go with the floor, go with Muth. He's a talented tight end. And then flex, Tank, Yoshi, or Deontay?
Deontay and Tank is close. I think Tank has. I do like Deontay though, but I think Tank has more upside, so I'll go Tank.
It's interesting. Yeah, this didn't say if it's PPR. Tank does have more upside. Deontay feels more like a safe bet. Right. If it's me, I might go Deontay because I still feel like he could score, could have a big game. But Tank is interesting as well. I wouldn't put Yoshi over either of these two guys though. Don't fall for that. Yes, and thank you, Sir Boomer, for the super chat. So I feel like we have to put this up. Yes. My rural Wi-Fi is not always on point, but we do what we can, right? We do what we can. And I would never go to
as long as we can hear you, we're all right.
We'd never go to the McDonald's. It would be the Starbucks. All right. And shout out to Shellback Toy Rewind is back with a football question. CJ, Achin, AJ, CD, Pitts, Nico, Jets, Tucker. Rate this, I guess, an 8-man league.
Okay, well, you got it looks like Achan is you only have to start one running back, so that's nice. You got AJ Brown, CD Lamb, Nico Collins, Jefferson. Or no, is that Jets defense? I think that's Jets defense.
I think
all right, so AJ, CD, Nico, that's good. You got Pitts at tight end, you got Stroud. It's an 8-team league. It's good. It's not like crazy stacked. I'll say 8-5.
Is it just from what I can tell, there's only one running back, right?
Yes, looks like only one running back.
Okay. Not knowing your bench, not knowing anything else. I mean, you have a lot of high-end talent, but don't know what would happen if HN goes down or whatever. So just from this, yeah, 8-5. I think that's good. We have now Hernandez. Got to sit one. Godwin, Connor, Javonte, or HN.
I think Javonte here is the one I'm sitting. Not sitting HN, not sitting Godwin. I assume that's Godwin and not Goodwin. If it's Marquise Goodwin, you can sit him. Or any other player named Goodwin, because I can't think of a Goodwin I would start. But Javonte is the one I'm sitting. I feel good about Connor, feel great about Godwin, feel great about HN. I'm sitting Javonte.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot sit HN, especially week 1 when he's healthy. Yeah, for me this week, Javonte sits. RJ, would you start Ramondre or Ford?
I'm going forward. Again, I like the fact that he's behind a top 5 offensive line. I like the fact he's in that Cleveland offense. It's going to run a lot of plays, going to run the ball a lot, and he's going to catch passes as well. So I'm going for it. This
one is pretty close. I like Ramondre's floor, but I do think Ford has a better chance at scoring because he's in a less horrible offense. So I'd give the edge to Ford as well. And again, the Dallas defense isn't really scary as far as the run defense goes. So slight edge to Ford. And then Dave 424, 2 flex spots. We got Terry, Olave, Neighbors.
I mean, if it's me, I'm going Terry and Olave. But if you drafted Neighbors, I mean, roll with Neighbors. Neighbors and Olave.
I'm going Terry and Olave. That's me. But again, this is a guy who didn't draft Neighbors outside of a couple of my many underdog best ball drafts. So if you want to roll on Neighbors, sure, go for it. But I think Terry and Olave will be just fine for you. These are flex options. I mean, flex, that means your lineup is already pretty loaded. So
You're right. Olave is a flex.
Tyreek starting at RB2. B-Rob or Hubbard?
Hubbard in a tough matchup. B-Rob in a tough matchup. But I feel like Hubbard is going to be like the clear guy.
Yeah.
And he'll probably catch a few passes at least. I think I'm going to slightly lean Chuba here, but I don't feel great about either of these guys, to be honest.
No. Hubbard is not in a great spot at New Orleans, but it's what you just said. He's going to get pretty much all the touches in the backfield because, of course, Brooks on IR, but then Miles Sanders has been banged up. Not that that's super fantasy relevant, but I think Hubbard's pretty much the guy there. With B-Rob, what my concern is if Washington falls behind, or even if they don't, if it's neutral, we're going to see Eckler being the pass catcher. You know, this could be kind of a split. I always like to chase the touches, you know, so I actually might go Hubbard as well. Even though I'm big on B-Rob in general, I really want to see how that backfield plays out. And then Uzi London, because he had Chad before. This is interesting. Somebody sent me Bijan for DJ Moore almost immediately after the draft.
I hope you took it. I hope you took Bijan. I mean, I like DJ Moore this year, but come on.
Yeah, everyone's like, you need to smash that. Why did somebody do that?
Somebody had a first round pick freely by their own free will, took Bijan Robinson, and then apparently got sniped in like round 3 or 4 on DJ Moore and was like, oh, that's it. I got it. Like, if you're that high on DJ Moore, why not just take DJ Moore with your first round pick?
Exactly. I guess they played chicken. They thought they would get him in round 3 and they didn't. I mean, I don't know if it's rigged or yeah. All right. Patrick Stefanski wants to rate this team. It is PPR, though. Don't know how deep this league is. So let's see. Josh Allen, Mixon, and Gibbs. Garrett, Rasheed, Kirk, Kelsey, and then made a trade. You already did this? Okay, traded away. Is that AJ Brown, McBride, and Stevenson to get Gibbs and Kelsey? Okay, let's talk trade first. It's a little too much.
Yeah. I mean, look, Rice was good on Thursday, but again, remember, Worthy making his first start, no Hollywood. Like, Rice will be fine this year, but I think AJ Brown will be better. McBride is going to be, I mean, we haven't gotten a single Kelsey question. Like, we're just not going to talk about how bad Travis Kelsey looked. How Travis Kelsey played 90% of the snaps, basically, and got a 14% target share and almost had the same production as backup tight end Noah Gray. Like, no one's worried about this. Like, we get all these Andrews questions, but not a single Kelsey. Like, no one's worried about this. I'm the only one worried about this. I'm the only one looking at it going like, this was a game where he played 90% of the snaps. Hollywood Brown was out. Xavier Worthy making his first ever start, and this is the Travis Kelsey we got? How does it get better? How does it get better from here? Someone explain this to me. I am very panicked about Travis Kelce right now. I mean, I was already panicked about him going into the season. Now I am very panicked about Travis Kelce. That being said, yeah, you should have just stuck. I think you should have just stuck with. I mean, okay, you got the running back upgrade, but I would have preferred McBride over Kelce and AJ Brown over Rice. So, anyways, as far as your team now, Josh Allen, Mixon, Gibbs, that's good. Garrett, Rashid, Kirk, it's fine. Kelce, not good. It doesn't say how many teams this is. I don't know. I'm just gonna say an 8. Because you still have a lot of good players, but it's an 8.
I mean, yeah, you got Gibbs, but it's like you said. I definitely prefer McBride over Kelce. I would definitely prefer AJ Brown over Rice, and Stevenson would have been still a solid RB2. You don't need to feel like you have to upgrade at running back to get a running back 1 when you have 3 stud receivers and you had a stud tight end. So it's not horrible. I mean, you got 3 for 3. It's fine, but overall, I still would have preferred it the other way. I guess it's like an 8. All right. Boomer wants to know, would it be crazy to sit Chase even if he does play for Deontay Johnson?
I don't think that's crazy. If you don't want to risk it, I feel good enough about Deontay Johnson that I could sit Chase there. I think I'm probably still going Chase if it's my team, but if you're like, I don't want to risk it, it's fine.
I'm at the point where I need to hear from somebody other than Chase himself, like, yes, he's going to play and he's going to be out there all game and he's fully committed and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I need to hear something. Demetrios, welcome back. All right. So Tua or Burrow, given all that?
Yeah, I'll probably just go Tua here. He's got his weapons. He's playing the Jags. Doesn't scare me. He should be fine. I'll go Tua.
I'm going to go Tua as well. Already regretting every instance, which I might have Burrow on any team. Gus or Monty? It's non-PPR.
I think this one is close. I think I'm going to give Monty the slight edge, though, just because he's at home. Detroit at home always plays well. He's got one of the best offensive lines. I'll give Monty the slightest of edges here, but it's close.
Very, very close, especially non-PPR. I'm in on Gus. I'm going to give the edge to Gus because that's what my gut's telling me for this week. But they're both solid options. And then we got KV Begaman in half PPR 10 team. Thank you for saying that. Murray, Brees, Monty, London, Olave, Devontae Smith, Godwin, Warren, Robinson, Dowdle, McLaughlin, Myers, Polk, Jordan Mason, and Wicks. Would you move anything here in a 10-teamer?
Yeah, because again, I mean, Monty as your RB2 is fine. Dowdle, McLaughlin, Warren is your only other RBs in a 10-teamer is less than ideal. You got Olave, Smith, Godwin. Well, but your wide receiver is also not like uber stacked and deep. I don't really see any major trades. I mean, it would have been nice if Wicks did something big last night. Maybe you could have traded Wicks, but he literally did nothing. I mean, unless you try to package like, is that Brian Robinson Jr., Warren? Like, you have a lot of RB2s. Yeah, I don't see anything that jumps out where I feel like you can make a trade. Like, because I don't think so. Let's see how this week plays out.
Yeah, honestly, the bench really doesn't have much trade value. So you're going to have to wait and see if one of those guys, I think, jumps up in value. Maybe Rico has a big week and then he's got something that you could package him and somebody else to upgrade at running back. But nothing else really stands out. I mean, you trade any of those receivers, you're probably not getting anything better in exchange. So probably hold tight for the time being. Mumble Dragon, what's up? Pat Andrews, likely's on the wire. What do you spend, or do you just ignore? Do you get the handcuff to your tight end after this week?
I mean, you can spend a little bit. I'm not going crazy for likely. I know people are probably going to go crazy for likely. But if you want to spend a little bit, like maybe max 10% of my fab, but that'd be like max, maybe more like 7 or 8%. If somebody else wants to drop 15, 20% on likely, okay, they can have them. I'm not freaked out about Andrews yet.
Andrews should still outscore likely throughout the rest of the season. Don't worry about that. Exactly what I was thinking, less than 10%. Probably someone who will outbid you, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. So 8%, I'd say, is reasonable. Would replace Mitchell on the bench. I mean, that's fine. You don't have to stash AD Mitchell. Okay, Chris has a question. Starts it. Dak or Murray?
I'm going Murray.
Go Murray as well. Wide receiver 3, you got Addison, Jason, Higgins, Myers, Cooks, or Demarcus Robinson.
This is just your wide receiver 3. I'm probably going Myers, although JSN is interesting.
Well, actually, hold on.
Or is
Sorry.
it 3 wide receivers?
Yeah, no, because I'm reading the rest of it. RB2, he says RB2, and then he has Brees. Henry already started. So now I'm thinking he needs 3 of these receivers.
Okay, then in that case, I'm going Myers, JSN, and I guess Addison. Probably Myers, JSN, Addison. Running back, you need 2 of them. You already started Henry. You got Brees. Oh, it looks like you're set there. And then Kyron Walker, Justice Hill for flex. Well, Justice Hill already played, but Kyron at the flex for me. If I'm reading this right.
It must be, and this is a case where I see you have Brees, Henry, Kyron, and Walker. With those receivers, you might want to make a deal, all right? Deal one of those running backs to upgrade at receiver, because you can't start all those running backs, and you probably could use some help at receiver. In fact, I know you could use help for a receiver. These are your starters. So Jason, Myers, and I might go Cooks or Addison. All right, and then we're getting there. We have a super chat from SM Harab, and the question is, Zach Moss or George Pickens?
Give me Pickens. What are we really hoping for from Zach Moss? Like, he gets the volume, he finds the end zone. I mean, Moss feels like a floor play at best. Give me Pickens. Let me chase that upside. If he bombs, he bombs. Oh well.
Yeah, which this is a more detailed version of it. I don't think it really makes a big difference, but Pickens or Moss, you got to go Pickens. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Cohen Burke. Ooh, okay. Well, open-ended question here. Favorite streaming tight ends for week 1? Does Taysom Hill make the list?
Yes, Taysom Hill actually will make the list. I think Taysom Hill is a decent streaming type option this week. He's got touchdown upside. I think Ertz. I wouldn't be surprised if people are like, holy crap, look, Zach Ertz is doing something. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Dulcich is interesting. Look, Gesicki. Man, I don't want to be in on Gesicki, but like, really, if Higgins is out, if Chase is out, I mean, he's their tight end. Maybe.
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah, I think Ertz seems like a great streamer this week. Jonnu Smith, keeps saying it. He's a guy who really should be involved because, I mean, besides, they got Hill and Waddle. But all their other receivers are pretty much hurt. Malik Washington is out. Didn't mention that, but the rookie, everyone's excited about him. He's not playing. OBJ's not playing. They really don't have a third reliable receiver. It's Braxton Berrios. I really think Jonnu Smith does get involved, so there's another option there. Okay. Zach Ertz. That's where we're at. K Styles, 10-team PPR. Got Hurts, Puka, Adams, Bijan, Monty, Kittle, and Olave on the bench. Rice, Zamir White, Swift, Bowers, and Hopkins. Rate, advise, trade, change. Thanks.
All right. Puka, Adams, Olave, Rice. Man, benching Rice for Adams might sting. Wide receivers for a 10-teamer. Good. Bijan, Monty, Zamir, Swift. Could be good. I mean, we'll see about Swift. Hurts, Kittle. I'm probably going to go Zamir over Monty. I just feel better about his touches this week. I mean, sure, Monty might score and Zamir White might not, but Zamir White could still score. I probably would have gone Rice over Adams because I'm not that high on Adams, but we'll see. But you can't do anything about that now. I don't change anything else. As far as rating the team, 10-team, 8.25.
Yeah, so for the lineup, Zamir over Monty is the only change. For a 10-teamer, still very good at the starting lineup. It's maybe like an 8.5 if these guys come through, because I'm a little higher on Adams. And I like you got Rice as your, I guess, third, fourth receiver. I mean, that's pretty good. As far as moves, maybe just do something with D-Hop if that's even possible. That's probably it.
Yeah, if it's possible.
Not likely right now, but you never know. We've seen a lot of strange trades already. Abimanu with a 12-teamer drop. Or I guess this is a question. Would you drop D-Rob, Samuel, or Cooks to pick up Rashid Shaheed?
I think you could drop Demarcus Robinson to pick up Shaheed. I mean, no one's rushing out to pick up Demarcus Robinson.
Right. I mean, we were drafting a lot of Demarcus Robinson on underdog for sure, which is different, right? This is best ball. And right. I think he's a good late round flyer, but Shaheed was more than just like a late round pick, right? He's a little bit higher than that. So I think I would do that as well. Now, if something happens to either Cup or Puka, you're going to want to go back and pick up D-Rob, but hopefully it doesn't happen in week 1. Steel Will, full PPR. Are we going Jaylen Warren or Tony Pollard?
I'm going Tony Pollard. I feel better about him in that offense, getting the usage, catching passes. I don't feel good about Jaylen Warren this week. So, and let's not remember, Jaylen Warren was banged up a lot of the week. Was very questionable with that hamstring. So just give me Pollard.
Right. Not really feeling too great about Warren. So in this case, not that I feel super warm and fuzzy about Tony Pollard in week 1, but I'd feel better about him than Warren. And then flexing London, Thomas, or JSN. That's probably got to be London.
Yeah, definitely London here.
Again, if you have London as a flex, you have a pretty good receiving core.
Well done.
All right, Reginald got a 12-man PPR league. Rate this team: Tua, Hill, and Waddle going all fins. I already like it. Jacobs and Mixon, Goddard, Browns. Also need to flex between Metcalf, Stevenson, McConkey, Chase Brown, or Pickens.
I'm definitely going Metcalf, even with Pat Surtain. Yeah. Going Metcalf in the flex here. As far as the team, let's see. Waddle, Tyreek, Waddle, Metcalf, Pickens. That's good for a 12-teamer. Jacobs, Mixon, Stevenson. It's solid for a 12-teamer. Tua and Goddard. Okay, so you waited a little bit on QB tight end, but overall it's not bad. It's not like a stacked team, but it certainly should be very competitive. I'll give it a solid 8.25.
As much as I absolutely love your first three picks, I'm not as crazy about the next three. Jacobs, Mixon are, fine, but not guys I expect to be league winners. And then Goddard, again, is kind of like the very end of the tight end, tight end one tier, if you will, for a 12-manner. It's fine. But I do like Metcalf, and I do like Pickens. So you're good in terms of your bench. Has a lot of upside. But we'll see about the running back room. I mean, I guess you could always consider Stevenson your RB2, whatever. I might consider with this team possibly trying to upgrade a running back after a week or two if you can do some sort of a 2-for-1. And we'll see how that plays out. Not yet, but this is like an 8. It's a solid 8. Demetrios also has a question. In non-PPR, still Metcalf over Godwin? I would think so.
Yeah, especially in non-PPR because, again, I like Godwin a lot this week, but this isn't a guy that you're going to feel like is going to score a touchdown. Like, he's not going to get you 10 touchdowns probably this year. So in non-PPR, Metcalf certainly has more touchdown upside. I'm going him.
Yes, definitely going Metcalf. Feeling pretty good about him this week. I know people are talking about Surtain and he shadows all the time. It doesn't mean Metcalf's not catching any passes. Like he'll still be okay. Thomas, again, PPR flex 2 for Mostert, Mitchell, Michael Wilson.
I'm going the first two. Again, I like Michael Wilson as a sleeper. I like AD Mitchell as, again, like maybe some potential down the road, but not this week with those guys. Ford and Mostert should be fine. I'm going with those two.
Right. Mitchell, no need to start him just yet. Wilson in a deep league, maybe, but I'm going Mostert Ford as well. The fact that you have Achane in there is fine. You can still start both of those running backs. I mentioned this the other day. I think when I did the Jalen Wright little thing, remember the Dolphins tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns, and they were 6th in rushing yards. And they have a quarterback who literally never runs, ever, because they don't want him to ever run. And they're still one of the best running teams in the league. So let's not forget that. Both running backs have fantasy value. Different team. Are you going with Brian Thomas, Ridley, Samuel, Javonte?
PPR, I'll go Ridley here. Again, not trusting rookie week 1. Curtis Samuel's fine if you need him. Javonte, I think, also fine, but what's the ceiling? I'll go with Ridley.
Well, that's good. That makes it unanimous. I'll go Ridley as well. Not the best matchup, but I definitely trust him more than those guys. I'm really curious, though, to see, not that I really want to start Curtis Samuel, but I'm really curious to see how many touches, how involved he is this week. Darwin Gonzalez. Okay, with no Higgins, are we going Godwin, Brian Thomas, or McConkey? It's Godwin.
We're going Godwin. Definitely Godwin over those.
Or actually, threw in another option, or Monty. I think it's still Godwin.
I mean, if it's non-PPR, I'll go Monty, but if it's PPR, I'm going Godwin.
Yeah, if it's PPR or half, it's got to be Godwin. Huge upside, great matchup. And I know we chatted earlier, so Around the Fur also wants to know, get to this question, any chance to drop Christian Watson? No.
Not yet. No, not yet. Not yet.
Not even for Isaiah Likely. No.
No, not unless we hear, if we hear, okay, Jordan Love's out for the season and they're going to be rolling with Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, something like that. Okay, then maybe you can drop Christian Watson, but not yet.
That would be so depressing on so many levels, but let's not even put that out there. All right. Heat Lifer. All right. 12-team PPR needs a flex. Got Najee, Hopkins, Ladd, or Yoshi.
Give me Najee. Oh, boy. Give me Najee. I think he is actually going to be the one in Pittsburgh for whatever that's worth. He could score. I mean, Hopkins with the knee injury and not doing it. Ladd, first game. Yasevich, again, feels like a trap. I guess I'll just take Najee and hope for the best.
Yeah, you can't trust Hopkins, questionable, and not a good matchup. Ladd, let's see. I'm not really in on Najee as of right now, but I would put him over these guys if it was my team. So Najee it is. And then Western Goods dropped this question. Here's a little more detailed version of it, though, to get the super chat. 12-man full PPR at RB2. We're going Monty, Moss, or Jones.
I'm going Aaron Jones this week, especially in PPR. I feel like he'll catch more passes. It's a good matchup for him. I like Aaron Jones in PPR.
Yeah, definitely in on Aaron Jones, especially this week. I mean, I do like Moss this week, but not more than Aaron Jones. And again, these are all actually definitely startable options, but Jones definitely has the best upside there. The rest of the lineup had Lamar. Okay, it's not bad. Got Lamb, Nico, Cup, Njoku, a kicker. And then here's the defense question: Vikes or Steelers?
I'm going Vikes. I know Steelers probably have the better real life defense, but against the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, I'll just go Vikings against young Daniel Jones.
Yes. You definitely want to go ahead and roll out any defense against that Giants offense. Atlanta at home, they could put up a lot of points, really. They should. So go Vikings, and you're welcome. Glenn White, Eckler, or Yosevich? I love the apology in advance.
I don't think it's an apology. I think he's calling Eckler sorry. Or maybe it is an apology. I read it as he's calling, like, sorry Eckler. Like sorry Eckler, or take a shot on Yosevich. Maybe I'm right.
Like sorry, this version of Eckler is not the best.
Yes, like that. That's why I was laughing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was apologizing, but you shouldn't apologize for asking this question. This one's actually tough. I don't know. I think I'm still going Eckler. I think he'll get some chintzy dump offs. Maybe he could fall in the end zone. I'll still go. But what I mean, what is the ceiling for Eckler really?
Well, that's the thing. It's like this point, you might as well just take a shot on Yosevich, right? Maybe get to the end zone. Maybe he makes a big play. Who knows? What's Eckler's ceiling?
Yeah, maybe take a shot on the youngster and see what happens.
Yeah. Now this one, okay. Good question. Cesar Lascano. Would you go Jalen Polk or Yoshi?
Just go Yosevich. We've heard good things about him. He's got Joe Burrow. We don't know T. Higgins. I mean, maybe T. Higgins is going to take the year off. Maybe Chase is going to take the year off too. Maybe they're just going to take the year off. I'm about to rant. Do you see that quote, Jamar Chase? Like, he doesn't want to just beat Jefferson by a penny. It's like, how about you beat him on the football field? How about you worry, like, you actually beat, because Justin Jefferson has lapped you on the football field so far. How about you beat him there? How about you take that energy and beat him on the football field? Anyways, yeah, go Yosevich.
Yes, I'm definitely going to go Yosevich for this one. Don't trust that Patriots offense in terms of passing offense just yet. I don't think I put this one up. Noah Gomez. We got three options here: Mostert, Warren, or crying to a pillow.
I think Mostert will be fine. Go with Mostert.
Yes. Hey, Mostert. And look, Boomer saying the Dolphins O-line is worse than last year. It's kind of the same as last year. They got most of the same guys. And look, if Terran Armstead actually stays healthy, should perform better. I really wish they would have upgraded more, especially Eichenberg just does not belong in the NFL. But other than that, it could be okay enough. Halal Saab. Kyler Monty.
Hold on. Real quick, Noah is saying he meant Dobbins, but I'm still going Mostert.
I thought he was going to start sobbing. Well, it did say sobbing. So should you start sobbing when these are your choices?
Yeah. I'm still going Mostert.
It made sense.
Yeah.
Mostert. Halal Sub. Kyler, Monty, Brees, London, Rashid, Tyler, Laporta, Bench, Wicks, Algier, Ford, Ladd, 80 Mitchell, TCH.
Okay. I think that's Mitchell. Add Mitch.
Oh, AD Mitch. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Because B-Rob. All right, thoughts. Don't know how deep this league is, though.
Brees Monty, Algier Ford is B-Rob is okay at running back depending on league size. London, Rashid, Terry McLaurin, Wicks. I'm gonna hope a 12-teamer here. Laporta, Kyler. It's all right. Like wide receivers, good, not great. Running backs. I mean, you went hero RB, not bad for hero RB, but I'd like higher end wide receivers in a hero RB. That's the problem. If you go like Kyler and Laporta, you go early tight end, early-ish QB. It's solid though. I'll say an 8.
All right, and as I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing did clarify. Thank you. It is a 10-teamer, and it is full PPR.
10-teamer.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to knock it down to a 7.5. I'm sorry. It's just not like those, like London. Like, okay, so you went, guessing you went Brees, London, Laporta?
probably Laporta early.
Rashid, yeah. It's a 7.5 and 10-teamer, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you have all good players. I feel like they might, for a 10-team league, might have been drafted a little earlier than they needed to. And yeah, I mean, I don't love drafting Laporta 3rd round in a 10-teamer. So a little early on some of these picks. Again, all solid players, nothing wrong with them individually, and you do have a good lineup. But in a 10-teamer, Monty, he's fine. Terry is good, but and you also don't have anybody on the bench who I think has that huge upside. So yeah, like a 7.5. Okay. I mean, we already did that one. Let's see. Kenneth Uko. Hey, rate this team. It's a 14-teamer. Kyler,
All right.
Zamir, Ford, Warren, Jalen Wright, Puka, Harrison, AJ. Nice. Rice, JMO, Polk, Corley, Kincaid, Bates, and Lyons.
I mean, you got AJ Brown, Puka Nakua, and Marvin Harrison in a 14-teamer, and you got Rashid Rice.
That's pretty good.
That's really good. I mean, obviously you went 0 RB here, but you got Zamir, Ford, Warren, Jalen Wright. I mean, yeah, it's risky, but it's a 14-teamer. You're stacked at wide receiver. It's PPR. You got Kyler. I don't see a tight end, which is probably, hopefully, oh, you got Kincaid.
Okay. Just
Got Kincaid.
really good
That's
too.
good. I think for a 0 RB draft, this is really good. Obviously, if Zamir and or Ford aren't any good, this team is going to be hurting. But your wide receivers are good. You got an elite tight end. You got an elite QB. I think for a 0 RB build, this is probably, in a 14-teamer, this is probably a 9.
Yeah, for a 14-team league, a lot of tremendous wide receiver talent. I like that you have a stud tight end and quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, look, White and Ford should be totally startable in a 14-team league pretty much all season long, I think. So, I don't think you're really going to be hurting. You do need some running back depth. Not going to lie there. Warren, maybe a startable, right? We'll see. So at some point, I would just drop Corley now and pick up some sort of running back with upside. But overall, it's a very good team. I think it's just like a 9. Sergio Gonzalez, appreciate the super chat. I don't see a question attached, or don't see one above or below. So if we do find one, or if you want to retype a question, if you do have a question, let us know, Sergio. Kenneth also wants to know this: would you sit Ayuk for either of those guys?
I mean, I know I'm worried about Ayuk this week, but I'm not sitting him for those guys. I'm still rolling with Ayuk.
Yeah, same. Again, there's certain players I would sit him for, and yeah, I'm willing to roll out Jameson Williams in week 1, but not for Ayuk. So you could probably look, maybe both or either of those guys does outscore Ayuk. Just don't know if you want to take a chance on that. All right, Trone needs a running back in a flex between Monty, Mostert, Jason, Lockett, or Myers.
I'm going Monty and Mostert. Again, JSN is certainly intriguing this week, but also risky. I'm just going to go Monty and Mostert. I feel good enough about them.
Yeah, I mean, JSN probably, aside from Mostert, has the biggest upside here. And remember, Lockett questionable. He's been nursing something all preseason, so don't start Lockett, and that also might make you feel better about JSN. But Monty Mostert are probably the smart plays here. Myers is like he's fine. He's there, but between those first three, you were fine with Monty and Mostert. T5, half PPR, Javante or Singletary. This might be our first Singletary question.
Yes, first Singletary question. All right, so both going to be workhorses in bad offenses. But I think if I had the choice, I would go Javante. I am unfortunately rolling out Singletary in one league. I think he'll be fine. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Javante.
I actually think, because I'm a little more skeptical on Javante, but I think in week one, I'm going to go with a guy who's going to be the workhorse in Singletary because he is going to get pretty much all the touches. The rest of that backfield is very uncertain. I'm not scared too much of the Vikings defense. I mean, I'm more scared of Daniel Jones and the Giants offense, but I do think we see a lot of Singletary. So I might go with him because honestly, my concern with Javante is we start to see a lot more Jaleel McLaughlin, especially if they're down early. They're going to have to throw the ball more, dump off more. So that's my thing. With Singletary, again, I just, when I'm stuck between these guys, I tend to lean toward who I feel is going to get the touches, right? More volume. I think it might be Singletary. Ayush is here just to say flag football. All right, so we have an actual athlete on here ready to put up a wide receiver one season. Very nice.
All right, if you guys are drafting your flag football fantasy teams, get Ayush in your lineups. Get him on your team.
Definitely. Ayush always in the Discord, very active there as well. And of course, we talk about somebody who's back. What's back? Well, the Terminator is always back.
Ah, yes.
If you're going with a Brown, you go with the running back or the tight end.
The running back. It's very hard for me to flex the tight end unless they're like, even like a McBride or I would have trouble flexing them. Ford's going to get the touches. He'll catch some passes. He could score a touchdown. He's behind a good offensive line. I'm going for it.
Yeah, got to go forward. Definitely in line for more touches. Like Njoku's not a bad start this week. He's definitely startable for a tight end, but at flex, go with Ford. He could also catch some passes as well. Hawaiian Ryan in full PPR. You go Deontay or Terry McLaurin.
Oh, I feel like we had this question a lot. I think Deontay might be your safer bet here. Although, I know it's like hard to call somebody catching passes from Bryce Young safe, but we've seen Bryce Young in the NFL. We know he'll like just force feed one guy over and over relentlessly like he did with Thielen. Terry definitely has the upside this week, but more risky. So this is so close here between these guys.
These guys are so similar in so many ways, it's like almost the same situation. I know if it's me, I give the slight edge to Deontay just because I feel like he will be force fed more intentionally, and that includes maybe in the red zone, the goal line. I just feel like it's going to be so much of him. I feel like Washington at least has more other options, and not as a receiving core. But like they have a tight end like Zach Ertz. Like who's Carolina's tight end? I think it's Jordan Matthews. They can dump it off to Eckler. They have Brian Robinson. Carolina, they have Chuba Hubbard and like Deontay is like literally the only option you can even feel remotely good about in Carolina. So that's for me what might be the difference.
Yeah, like I said, it's close. Deontay probably your safer option.
Yeah.
So probably go Deontay.
But this is razor thin. And then Vanilla Villains. All right. Dynasty. First Dynasty question in PPR. And I Tight end premium, it looks like a little half-point action there. Receiver and 2 flex, we got McBride, Harrison, Neighbors, in London. Honestly, I'll just say I might have already picked McBride with a tight end premium. McBride is for sure in my lineup there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because the tight end premium, okay, you get a half point. So if he catches, let's give him 8 catches. All right, he gets, 4 extra points. That is pretty big. But, man, 8 catches, even for McBride, that's a huge game.
But that's the thing. This week, I feel like he does get 8 catches. So I'm big on McBride this week. You just go to the 3 receivers?
Well, only because his Neighbors. I definitely go Harrison in London. If you want to flex McBride over Neighbors because it is tight end premium, that's fine. But I'd also be okay with the 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, for me, I'm clearly all in on McBride this week. I would flex him. I think you got to start Harrison too, and then I'd probably put London. But again, you're looking at the guy who wasn't really in on Neighbors. You want to put him out there, that's fine. Okay, so Noah got Mahomes, Cook, Mostert, Evans, CD, Rice, Bowers. It's a 12-man PPR league.
Are we rating this team? Is that what we're doing here?
Yes. Actually, he asked it kind of the same way. Rate it.
All right, so we're just rating the starting lineup here. Wide receivers are very good for a 12-teamer. Obviously, you got elite QB. Running backs are okay. I do like James Cook this year. Mostert is fine as an RB2. Bowers at tight end, maybe as the season goes on, definitely makes me nervous. But it is a 12-teamer. It's not going to be it shouldn't be a completely stacked team. So I still think it's a strong team. I'm going to say 8.5.
Got CD. That's hard to beat. Evans as your 2, Rice as your 3. So very good, very good. Cook, I did say it could be an RB1, more in the middle of the RB1 range, maybe mid to lower, depending on how things shake out. So not knowing your bench, there is some risk here. I got it closer to an 8. But that said, if Bowers becomes a monster, that will definitely help things out. All right, and then let's help Tyler Durden because he's always on here. Jalen Warren or Josh Palmer?
Battle of the floors. Whose floor will be higher this week? Who will get 10 points instead of 9 points this week?
Well, I feel like if someone has some sort of a ceiling or upside, it might be the receiver who could make a big play. Palmer, it's probably where I would lean. Although,
that's probably where I would lean too, honestly, because I do feel like he's going to be the wide receiver 1 this week for whatever that's worth. And when they get near the goal line, I don't even know if we're going to see Najee near just give me Palmer, I guess. They both feel like floor plays this week.
Right. You got to pick one. Go Palmer. Dan Plant, Godwin or Mostert in PPR?
Definitely Godwin here over Mostert in PPR. Definitely Godwin in PPR.
Yeah. Godwin is a strong start. PPR definitely gives him the edge. Jordan Dumas is back. What is up? In PPR, who do you flex between Rico, Sutton, Wandale, or Ladd?
Oh, whoa. All right. We are going deep here. We are going deep. Oh, man. Again, just feels like battle of floors. Whose floor is higher?
Well, I'll start. Let's try to eliminate somebody. I know I've been talking up Wandale, but I'm not starting him. Not in week 1.
Yeah. I can barely start Neighbors. How am I going to start Wandale Robinson?
Exactly. I'll be realistic here. Okay, so probably not Wandale. We've been expressing some concern about McConkey already, so probably he doesn't make the leap over a guy like Sutton in week 1, right?
No.
Okay, so do you take a chance on
Sutton?
Rico? Just go with Sutton.
I mean, I know it's easy to look at Sutton like, well, Sutton, he's got touchdown upside, but that was with Russ. Does he have touchdown upside with Bo Nix? I don't know. But Dowdle, but I could see the Dallas backfield breaking out. Like Dowdle gets like 15 touches for like whatever, 70, 80 yards. But Zeke gets a goal line carry for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
how I could see that happening. And it's like, okay, neither of these guys are worth anything. Like they're neither of them are worth much. But if Sutton doesn't score a touchdown, what are we getting from Sutton from Bo Nix? I like it feels like the answer probably should be Sutton. I guess just go Sutton.
I think for now it should be Sutton. I mean, my hope for you, Jordan, is that I expect Seattle to be up, and I expect them to be up most of the games, not all the game. So maybe they just have to sit back and pass it enough, and Sutton's pretty much the only dependable option there now. So just by sheer volume, normally we would say the receiver has more upside, the running back's more for floor. I kind of feel the opposite here. Like Rico, maybe he has a big game and busts out. Well, I don't know. I'll just go with Sutton. At least you'll know you get something. Zachary Mudd. This is a little tougher for different reasons. PPR, DJ Moore or Waddle?
Yeah, I like both these guys this week. I think they'll both be good. I don't think you're probably one of them is probably going to outscore the other. So if you pick the wrong one here, you're gonna be like, oh, I should have started the other guy. But projecting forward, it's hard to say one will be significantly better, but I think I'm going to give Waddle the edge. He's in that Dolphins offense. He's going against that Jags secondary. Tennessee, I know last year Tennessee was like one of the worst secondaries, but they have upgraded it. I think they could be better. It's still Caleb Moore making his first ever start. We can't just be like, this guy's going to come out week one and be, Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to go Waddle slightly over DJ Moore.
Yeah, Waddle feels like a less risky option here. So, and like you said, Tennessee should have a much better. They had a pretty bad secondary last year. They should definitely be better. I mean, they got L'Jarius Sneed. That's huge. They got Chidobe at Woozy. I think they have Jamal Adams, although I don't know if he's ever healthy. But I'm not worried about DJ Moore here. I'd still go Waddle. More upside. All right, last few. We're pretty much caught up. We are at past the 3 hour mark. But let's do our last few super chats for today. Ayush, don't worry, guys. We'll be back tomorrow as well. How do you feel about Jake Ferguson?
Ayush, did you not watch our videos this week? We like Jake Ferguson. This year. We like Jake Ferguson. Feel good about him. Week one may not be the best Jake Ferguson week. It's on the road against the Browns. I'm not expecting a big Cowboys offensive game here, but don't panic. Ferguson, I think, will be very good this year.
Yes. Top 8 tight end, I think that's reasonable to say. Yes. Should be pretty much every week start, and don't worry about it. Another tight end question, which I'm not really sure how you have this decision. Chris Wark, McBride, or Kincaid? Like, you have them both?
Oh, I mean, you can't really go wrong here, right? Like, I mean, how do you really go wrong here? McBride, I guess.
Well, I'm all in a McBride for this week for sure. I mean, this season anyways, but for sure. Talked about Matt Milano out for Buffalo. They're not great against the tight end anyways. This could be a great chance. And those safeties. Remember, they had 2 stud safeties, and they're both gone. Right. I'm all in on McBride this week. I love them both. Now, slightly different here. Chase Brown or Javonte in half?
I mean, I'm going Javonte. I like Chase Brown, but Javonte is going to get more work, catch more passes. I'm going to go Javonte.
I'll go Javonte here too. I like Chase Brown's potential, but I also think Zach Moss gets more involved this week. So I still am okay with Javonte at half. Now, Ethan Struby wants to know, would you start Javonte over Ayuk?
No, again, I know. I'm worried about Ayuk. Keep saying it. He's going to get sauce. He has had hardly any camp, any practice. But that being said, I can't bench Ayuk for a guy like Javonte. I'm going Ayuk still.
Right. This is too worried. I mean, Ayuk should still do something. So And look, matchups are not everything. Guys can have good games in bad matchups. It does happen. So, yeah, worry about Ayuk. Don't love him this week, but I'm not going to start Javante over him. So, there you go. All right. We're caught up. Got all the super chats. Thank you, everyone. I know we try to do some of the non-super chats, but we don't usually have time. And like I said, we're now past 3 hours. Got to get going. So, all right, well, I'll put this one up. Thank you, Power. We appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Power.
Appreciate everybody
Appreciate
who's
you.
watching, whether you've
Yes.
been with us since the beginning, a couple of years, or if you're just joining. So thank you, everyone. And of course, if you haven't watched all the videos, we got starts for every position, tell you who we like, who we don't. And we also have our boom picks, guys we think could go off. Some of our favorites might help you sway, one way or another in terms of those tough decisions. And so much more is still coming out. There's probably more that I know. Did the beat the breakout is out. Your early trade decisions. That's right. And a lot of you are making trades. Help you decide who you could buy low already. And of course, we'll see you on the live stream tomorrow early. It's a annual tradition, a weekly tradition.
Yes.
3 hours before the first kickoff of the first games, we will be on here to answer your last minute start sit questions and to continue to vent over the Bengals and pull our hair out over what to do with these guys. Let's hope between now and kickoff, the next 24 hours, nobody trips down the stairs and tears an Achilles or something ridiculous, like slams a hand in a car door.
Right.
Yeah, that would just be fitting. So we will see you guys tomorrow. And of course, if you haven't already, you can get those pick'ems in right now. It's a good time. While we still think we know everything that's going to happen in week 1, try Underdog. It's the best place for picks. And you can even do weekly drafts and tournaments. No boomers in there. A lot of you want to get in some tournaments and have a chance to win big money based on who you think is going to go off week 1. Well, here you go. Check it out. And if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, do it now. Use code ENDGAME. You get that free Dak Prescott pick we already told you about. He just gets a yard. It's a free pick. And you can combine it with any other pick you like. Because if you do sign up right now with that code ENDGAME, you still get deposit match 50% up to $1,000 in bonus cash they will match of your deposit, plus all those promotions. So go ahead and check it out. It's a great place to play. And of course, Draft Lane is the app that you want to help because you can get those start, sit, trade, waiver wire, whatever questions, rate my team. You can get them out there on the app. You don't have to be on here live. So if you're catching this after the fact, you just finished watching, maybe you didn't get your question answered, well, download Draft Lane. It's completely free. Just go to the App Store or the Play Store. And if you want to know more about it, you can go right there to that website. It's draftlane.com. But again, just search for the app, download it, completely free, and you can check out all the features it has, including our rankings for the preseason now that it's officially over because the season has finally started.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you again very soon. See you tomorrow morning.